Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah. Well, all right. Like you always say, welcome, welcome, welcome. Number one sports talking D. We ain't like the Falcons, we won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that, who got cut and who back. Rookies and the vets, players you should look at. It's the sports coma, you don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game, party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Peyton, New Orleans, who that nation. Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black. Ain't a miracle or rivalry could ever hold us back. No, Beastquake, Bounty Gate, let the truth be told. It's the sports coma, all we know is say Super Bowl. Yeah.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Yeah, we hear you. All right.
So I wanted to show you in the rookie Josh Kelly, who's having to fill in for Austin Eckler this week for them.
I didn't hear the question. Go ahead again.
So I was asking about your thoughts on the Chargers rookie running back Josh Kelly. I guess he'll be filling in for Austin Eckler this week. What have you kind of seen?
Yeah, look, I think we'll see him. I think we'll see a little bit of a running back by committee. Obviously, you lose a good player like Eckler for a period of time. You know, you don't want to see that. But we're still going to have to defend that offense, and they present some challenges relative to the zone read, relative to some of your option schemes, things that you may not see on a regular basis.
Sean, I know you said Monday that, excuses are just kind of out of it and, people just want to see the results. But are you almost at a point where it's like, what can happen next?
Well, look, I think we're fortunate right now. It appears that we're going to be able to stay, and this storm is staying a little bit more towards the west of us. So we're trying to really focus on this game. Focus on what we have to do to improve as a team here after 4 weeks. There's still a number of things that are painfully glaring, and that's what we're tasked to do right now, and get ready to play this team. And this team's played well. They've been in a lot of close games. We're ahead last week 24-7 before the half, and you just watch the film and you can see the quality of the team we're playing. We know this team well. We practiced with them, I feel like, at least 2 or 3 times in the last 5 years.
Yeah, Sean, is there a level of familiarity with them, or is there too much turnover to really count on last year's?
I think you see a similar system
defensively.
I'm sure they feel the same way with us offensively. Obviously, there's jersey numbers and players that move in and out. I think there's been some staff change, and yet to some degree that there's nuances I'm sure both teams will be familiar with just from having that exposure during training camp, and it's always been a good exposure. I mean, we compete, practice hard, and yet we've never had any issues. And I think I've known Anthony for a long time, and I think he feels the same way. We feel like our teams can practice and get work done without it becoming a sideshow.
Is there any particular area of focus that you want to see your team improve in kind of the season's second quarter, now that you're into that kind of phase of the season?
Look, situationally, defensively, there's some numbers that are decent, but our red zone defense and our third down defense are going to have to improve. All right. Offensively, I think our consistency relative to our protections, our run game, it was better last week, and yet there's still breakdowns in our schemes that we can clean up and shore up relative to throwing the football. Those would be some specifics. I thought last week we were okay in the kicking game. We almost had a field goal, PAT block, so that's going to resurface, right? We actually had one blocked, and it was just close enough to where it was still good. Our location and our directional punting has got to be better. We're gonna play teams with other good returners, and that field position we're counting on.
What's your kind of assessment of the offensive performance of these last three games without, obviously a key player like Mike?
Yeah, it's result oriented, so it's been okay. I was pleased last week with what we were able to do there in the second quarter. I thought our third down numbers were good, and we had good balance. I thought the tempo was good. All of those things helped us. But there's still a lot of details that I think need to be cleaned up a lot.
Sean, with Taysom playing fewer snaps on special teams, does that have to do with his development at quarterback, or are you guys just trying to keep him healthy?
It's strictly the kick. It's the two kickoff units. That was something we decided at the beginning of the year.
With the tempo, Sean, it seemed like that was probably your best tempo all season against Detroit. Whenever you guys are bringing guys back in the mix, whether it's Mike or Cook, is there like an adjustment there with that actually being kind of harmful for the tempo, or is it just like they slide right back in?
Well, look, you don't just slide back in, and we've got a long week here to see where any of these injured guys are. We've got a number of guys on this list. I'm hopeful with some of them maybe not as hopeful. We'll see what the week looks like. But the tempo is the shifts, it's the motion, it's in and out of the huddle. That's something that's unwavering. That's something that we've always been very good at.
Yeah, it looked that good this year, Peyton.
Sean, what have you just seen from their rookie quarterback so far?
He's got very good arm talent. He can throw off body, in some funny body positions. He made some big plays last week. Listen, I've been impressed. He's tall. He's got a real good arm, and
that's enough for that, man. That's enough for that, man. All right, who that to the rest of the Black and Gold family members of the live stream. Big ups to you and Yearns on this edition of the Sports Coma. Much love to the family members coming into Thursday night. This one's titled Saints Get Ready for the Chargers. Thank you, Miguel. Appreciate your super chat, my friend. Miguel Lomax, who that to you, and thank you for your super chat, my friend. Big ups to you. And thank all of the Black and Gold family members in advance for your super chats as well as your cash apps. I thank you. It's much appreciated. And trust me, it goes back into the platform to keep being able to produce quality content for the family members. Big ups to everybody in the live stream. That was Peyton chimed in. He did. That was pretty much about 6 minutes, 6 minutes and 23 seconds of a 7 minute and 43-second video. Well, actually, a teleconference that Peyton did this morning about the team's progress moving forward. As you see once and you hear once again, very frustrating, bro. Very frustrating because these media guys always give them these layup ass questions. And I don't care about Josh Kelly, the Chargers running back who's filling in for Eckler. You know, I think that was Rod, whatever his face is, started off. I'm sick of these milquetoast questions that we care nothing about. We don't care about Josh Kelly right now. We want to know if the team is going to stick to the running attack. And it's just amazing how cowardly and spineless the press is and asking the questions that we want to hear. We don't care about Josh Kelly. We don't care about all that other nonsense. Are you going to stick to the running game? That's the big question. Stop placating to Peyton. Anyway, you know, y'all, you can hear I'm lit. Let's move forward now. We're gonna play one more interview. This is from Drew Brees. And then after we play Drew, we're going to then transition back into the show. I got a few news, notes, and items I want to cover with you guys, the injury report. So please, while they're playing, please hit the like button, family. Please share the link for the show in your social media. It helps us out greatly. Right here is Drew Brees.
Here, the ice cream truck that we've got going on behind. Drew, just do you feel like these last couple of weeks without Mike Thomas in the lineup, you guys have kind of developed maybe a bit of chemistry with the receiving core that maybe you wouldn't have if Mike was on the field, if that makes any sense?
Yeah, absolutely. It's given a lot more reps to guys like Traquan Smith and I mean, even Emmanuel Sanders and some of the other young guys. Deontay Harris has gotten a ton of opportunities, and I think just all the way around. You know, we do so much with our personnel groups and formations, et cetera, anyway, but obviously Mike is a big part of our offense, a focal point in our offense, and so when you remove a guy like that, you know, all those opportunities, all those touches, you know, need to be kind of filled by someone else. And I'd say it was a group effort, and I think those guys did a great job.
Next one's from Rod Walker.
Hey, Drew, I'm making an assumption here that I probably shouldn't make, but assuming you're not still playing in 2024, what does this mean for you to just be playing against the Chargers? And, you know, just is it sentimental for you, or what does it mean?
Yeah, I mean, probably a little bit, you know. I guess I'd lie if I say it wasn't, but
man, listen, I really don't care about that, man.
You know, my last season there.
Once again, milquetoast questions, man. Come on, man.
You know, 15 years ago, but certainly valued the memories there, and the guys who I had a chance to play with, and the coaches who I had a chance to play with, and just the way that molded me and shaped me in a lot of ways, and really helped me in my journey. And as I've come here, obviously played against those guys quite a few times, you know, with Philip Rivers as the quarterback, who was a teammate, you know, and now Philip's gone, you know, and it's, you know, obviously faces have changed over the years too, you know, since it's once every 4 years, you know, there's kind of a lot of new faces on both sides, I'd say.
You're not ruling out playing again in 2024 though, huh?
No, we'll see.
Next one's from Mike Triplett.
Sure, I was also going to ask you
about
the special meaning of games. Obviously, you've had some of the most special moments of your career on Monday Night Football. 20 years in, do these games still get a rise out of you? Is there still something special about playing on Monday night?
Absolutely, absolutely. There's a level of nostalgia there, you know, from being a kid watching it to having the opportunity.
I'm gonna pull a Peyton right quick. I'm gonna say last question.
Going on 20 years, like you said, there's been some great moments, some very memorable moments, some huge games that we've been able to be a part of in that primetime slot. So hopefully that continues.
Last question.
Next one's from Brett Martell.
Hey, Drew, could you reflect just briefly again on, in the context of how you felt when you first left the Chargers and all that you've accomplished since then, kind of what's the moral of that story?
What?
You know, because now here you're playing them at least one more time, and you're
didn't the man just ask that question in a different way?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's part of the journey.
Drew said, and again.
When I was drafted by the Chargers back in 2001, it was my hope, my plan to be the franchise quarterback there for my whole career. You know, and obviously that didn't happen, and that was for a reason. You know, there was some divine intervention there, I believe, and it brought me here. Probably one of the last places I ever thought I would end up, in New Orleans and with the Saints. And yet, when you look,
that's true, because Drew was headed to Miami, man. Just to let y'all know, he was headed to Miami. Nick Saban, who was the coach at that time and general manager, chose Culpepper over Drew, and we got Drew. Drew said, "Okay, we coming to New Orleans."
The last 15 years here with Sean Payton and so many others, it's
happy he did it
though. It was supposed to be.
That was the last milquetoast question. Matter of fact, the reporter asked the same question that the first buffoon asked, but he asked it in a different manner. And Drew had to say again. Again. What's the problem? You can tell what's wrong with these people. It can't be the people. The people reading these articles in the questions in their comment sections telling them, listen, man, ask them this, ask them that, ask them this, that. I guarantee you nobody was asking about whether or not Drew Brees was, that kind of thing. We don't care about that right now. That's the type of question you ask after it's all said and done. I don't care if Drew Brees ever plays the Chargers beyond this point. Only thing I'm concerned about are the Chargers that we play on Monday night. That's all I'm concerned about. I give a rat's ass about the transition here. I already know about all that. The questions that we don't have is Sean Payton going to stick to the running game? Once again, the same guy started the question off. He started off with Payton asking him about a second-string ass backup in Los Angeles. I don't care about Joshua Kelly. What I do, running backs I do care about are the Saints running backs. The ones exclusively, in particular, the Saints rushing attack. I want to know whether or not you are going to stick to that. That's what I want to know, reporters. Try asking that damn question, because I know y'all listen to the show. I mean, I know y'all do. Y'all level up your manner of questions, man. Seriously, man. What y'all doing, man? I mean, seriously, this is stupid. It's clownish, man. This guy sat on his ass and asked the same question the other guy asked about Drew and this. But at least Drew did say, we'll see about whether or not he'll be here in 2024. We'll see. He didn't say no. So I got to give him credit for that one, at least. But wow, man. Boy, wow. Can we get some media people with some spines and, some spines? You know what I'm saying? It's only a handful of media people that I actually really like. I'm going to just be honest with you. I read a lot of stuff, and a lot of people's stuff I don't like. I'm just going to keep it real with you. But it's certain cats that I really like. I like the Sports Illustrated guys. I like how they write because they're real factual. They give you the information and you learn. Not saying you can't learn from the rest of these media folk, but let me tell you something. Boy, they too close to the establishment. They too close to them to the point almost like you would think that they own that building where they come out and they can't say anything critical of the team without apologizing profusely in the articles after writing it. Like one of those guys did. I mean, it's amazing, man. It's really amazing. I don't care who you are. Start asking tougher questions, man. Is he going to the biggest question coming into this week against the Chargers, or are you going to stick to the running attack? The same running attack that you discarded in weeks 2 and 3, which had us falling through the flow, that you were forced into doing in week 4, because had you have lost that game, you would have had a mutiny on your hands. You and I both know that. Those guys was pissed in that building, and a win let the pressure out of that building. Especially when everybody looking saying this guy he's abandoning the running attack. So the question is, and I asked this question again because it is the big question, is will you stick to the running attack? Will you give 30 plus carries a game to, I don't care which running back, but give them the carries. Kamara, Murray, Washington. Give them the carries, 30 plus carries. Can you stick to that? That's what it comes down to. But anyway, family, I opened the broadcast up with Peyton, and it wasn't Peyton that I was upset with. It's the reporters. It's the gutless reporters, man. I don't need, somebody got to tell the truth. Somebody got to ask the questions. We all can't be milquetoast. We all can't be extremely weak and cowardly to act. So we got to have a certain level of brave to be, to be brave enough to ask the questions that matter, whether the guy get mad at you or not. You should be more worried about the people that's writing your articles. I mean, seriously, man. But what can I say? most of the people that take these jobs, a lot of these people not from down here. So it's just a job to them. As long as they ask questions, I done my job. I asked the question. He asked the question. I done my job. But if it's some guys that's really from down here that are fans of the team, covering the team, there's a certain difficulty to the question. Anybody else, they detach from the reality of what it is to be affixed to the culture of the New Orleans Saints down here. They come down here thinking it's just a team because they covered another team or team somewhere else, and it's just a job to them. It's not just a job for us. That's why these are passer-buyers, which means probably a year or so or not, the same guys that's writing on the team right now, their asses will be writing they'll be somewhere else in another city covering the Houston Texans or the Atlanta Falcons or the Carolina Panthers or somebody. You know, that's what happens. You know? But the reality is, man, somebody got to ask the questions. I guess it's up to Big Q and the Great Saint Think Tank to stay on focus, to not play the game and not dance to their narrative. Who that to the Black and Gold family members in the live stream? Big ups to you. Y'all can see I'm fired up right now early on. GM Kev in the building. Miguel, thank you, Miguel, for your super chat. Big ups to your family. Tori Shepard Sr., who that to your brother. Superstar Louisiana boy, who that to your fam. JT, God bless you too, my brother. And appreciate you joining us. Who that to you as well. Kenny Sutton, what up, Kenny? Who that to you, my brother? Appreciate you joining. Tyra, what's up, baby? Chiming in from Cali. Big ups to my girl Tyra in the building. Once again, Brian Pearson, what up, Brian? Who that to you as well? Brother Jerry, who that to you in the building as well. Good to see you in the chat, my friend. Can't Guard Juice, what's up, fam? Good to see you in the chat. Juice, big ups to you, fam. Travis 504, who that to you, brother? Appreciate you joining us. Goose, what up, Goose? Who that to you, my friend? Good to see you. Thank you for your support as well. True Louisiana, who that to you? Good to see you in the chat. Big ups to you and Yearns. RG, who that to you, fam? Good to see you in the chat. Big ups to you once again. Lance Kelly, what up, Lance? Who that to you, brother? Big ups to you. Good to see you in the chat as well. Who else we got? Gundam. What up, Gundam? Who that to you, brother? Good to see you in the chat. The artist formerly known as Drew Goddamn Breeze, Last Saint, is in the building. Big ups to your fam as well. Big ups, brother Tremal. What up to you? Who that to you, Tremal? Once again, big ups to you. Pelicans Nola. What up, fam? Good to see you in the chat. Who that to you as well? And all the LSUS, we got William Dickerson, Rose City D. Who that to you, fam? Good to see you in the building. Big ups to you, fam. Thank you for joining us. And who else we got? Roy. What up, Roy? Roy Baker. Who that to you, Roy? Big ups to your family. Big ups to you. And thank you for joining us today as well on this edition of the show. Now, if any of the rest of the family members is chiming in, I didn't give you a who dat, give me a who dat in the chat and I'll give you a who dat back. You got me? I always shout out to family members. If I didn't get you, let me know you in this thing. A lot of family members, they shot their who dat out, and I try to get right to you. Who dat to you, Ramsey? I see your family. Who dat to you? Big ups to you. He says, everybody be careful during the storm. That's right. Thank you, Ramsey. Once again, we got another one of these storms. Hurricane Delta Burke is coming through, and you know, it's supposed to be headed in the same area as Lake Charles. So a lot of the family members out there, just be careful, man. Who that to you? All right, Trey Will, TYPQ, who that to you, fam? I hope I said that right. Trey, who that to you, fam? Good to see you in the chat as well. Thank you. All right, anybody else I missed? Give me a who that and I got you, baby. Who that to you? All right, family, now on this edition of the show called Saints Get Ready for the Chargers, like I said, we started it off with Sean Payton and Drew Brees. Also have the injury report we're going to go over. We'll go over, of course, the re-signing of Tommy Lee Lewis, who is a guy that was sent here by Sean Payton's mentor, Bill Parcells, who said, listen, this guy here, I want you to sign him. Well, he's gone, then he came back, and he's gone, then he came back. Well, he's back. He's back. He's back. He's back. Tommy Lee is back on the practice squad, so don't be surprised if the Saints activate him before a day before the game, or let you know on a game day that he'll be activated in the kick return capacity. You know, that's just what it is. But anyway, we're going to get started with those stories. So if you got any questions, concern, family, please drop questions and concerns in the chat. Drop them in the chat and I'll get to them. Drop them in the chat and I will get to them. All right. So without further ado, give me just a second. We'll open up the injury report right here and we'll get it. All right. Saints injury report. And the thing about it, family, about the Saints injury report is it's a lot of progress this time around for week 5 against the Chargers. You take a look at who they got there. Andrews Pete is listed as limited, which I thought they'll shut him down. He was dealing with an ankle. He has a broken finger, or actually it's a thumb. Pete has a broken thumb, and he got rolled up. He is practicing. That's a surpriser right there. I wouldn't want Andrews Pete practicing. I would shut him down until after the bye week and see if you can bring him back. But Andrews is tough, man. He got rolled up playing with got a club on his hand. That's why I said we need to give him a little bit more credit than when we get him. Who that to you, Sad Scott? I see you, fam. Next on the list is the 10-man, Jared Cook, dealing with a groin issue. He was listed as limited. Ryan Ramczyk has a concussion protocol, whether you play or not, still up to the debate. He is limited with that concussion. Marcus Davenport no longer has an elbow issue listed. Remember, the declaration was elbow and toe. Elbow is gone, toe is left, and that is limited. Marshawn Lattimore, hamstring, limited. Michael Thomas, ankle, limited. Trey Hendrickson, groin. Like I told y'all, remember when we showed you the injury report before, Trey Hendrickson was not on the injury. Do y'all remember? Put one in the chat if y'all remember this, fam. I'm just seeing if we're on the same page here. I'm just saying this, we're on the same page. Put one in the chat if you guys remember that we covered this a show or two back, and I told you about Trey Hendrickson still having a groin issue, but he was not on the injury list, even though I knew that he had the groin issue, the same one that he suffered from the Raiders contest, even though he wasn't on the injury list for the last couple of weeks. But he pops back up there with the groin issue. I said the groin issue lingers. It lingers. You don't get rid of a groin in a game or two. It don't work like that. Even if they shooting it up with painkiller, which is how you would be able to play with that thing, you know. Y'all just forget that last part. But the reality at the end of the day is Trey Hendrickson has an issue. He's limited. Like I said, man, we need help. All right, Malcolm Jenkins is dealing with a knee now. We got Malcolm on there. Malcolm has a knee now. All right, Tyra, Sad Scott, Kenny. Who that to you, Patrick? Good to see you in the chat, family. Big ups to you. All right, and of course you see Malcolm Jenkins on there. Janoris Jenkins is not dealing with a shoulder. Did not practice. So what's up with that? Marshawn Lattimore played limited, but Jenkins did not play at all. What kind of shoulder issue is this, man? Well, he's shut down. I don't like that. But I don't play with the hamstring either. Hamstring, that's something that I would sit Lattimore down, but this is very concerning. That Jenkins has a shoulder issue and he's not good to go. And of course, special team standout Justin Hardy has a hamstring issue. He's not practicing. Deontay Harris, who took out the game, has a hamstring issue. He did not practice. And of course, the addition of Tommy Lee Lewis to the team means that more than likely Deontay Harris will not play against the Chargers. So before I get on down here to the Chargers list of guys here, Tyrone Jones, who that, fam? Good to see you in the chat. Nola Baby, Ken Conley, who that to you? Good to see you in the chat, bro. Big ups to you. That is the thing that very concerning here, man, on the back end of the injury list. Even though it was a pleasant surprise to be Andrews Pete up there, that he's actually practicing. Jared Cook is there. Ryan Ramczyk is practicing. Davenport is practicing. Even though all these guys are limited, Marshawn Lattimore's hamstring. Now, before I move on down here, let me ask the family member in the Great Saint Think Tank about what you think about shutting some of these guys down. Andrews Pete, Jared Cook, Ryan Ramczyk, if he's good to go, because it was a concussion issue. But guys with ankles, groins, the toe of Marcus Davenport, the hamstring of Lattimore, the ankle of Michael Thomas, do you shut those guys down? We see Malcolm Jenkins up there with a knee issue. He don't miss too many games. But what is your advice on that? Would you shut down those guys, Jared Cooks, Would you shut down Davenport, Lattimore, Thomas, and Pete till after the bye week for the Chargers? What do you guys think about that? All right, let me go to the chat. Patrick says, who that Big Q in the fam? He says, keep me and Lake Charles in y'all prayers. We're about to get another hurricane. We haven't recovered from Laura. Y'all know, bro. And I'm sorry to hear that, bro. And it's terrible. And you all definitely in our prayers, Pat. And Kyle and the rest of the family members that lives in that area. Much love to the family members. And you all guys are definitely in our prayers, bro. Thank you. Kevin Conley says, Q, this is craziness. Do you see Mike Evans? He's balling. Hamstring. Yeah, I know, bro. Demi said, who that Demi? Says, is the entire team on injury report? Goose says, with the bye week coming up, yes, shut them down. Thank you, Goose. Kenny says, never know who really hurt. That's how the Sean works. He be lying too now. I've documented that now. Kevin says, yes, shut them down for this week, Q. I mean, and shutting them down gives you an extra week. Like this week and then next week is the bye week. So it's 2 weeks and then you get them back after Carolina. That would be my mindset. I wouldn't be trying to worry about putting Andrews Pete in there and putting Jared Cook, the 10-man, in there. And if Ryan Ramczyk suffering from a concussion, I wouldn't worry about putting him in there either. We got James Hurst just activated. Let Hurst get some reps. If we run in the football, then we wouldn't have to worry about protection issues. If we run in the ball, damn sure don't play Davenport. He just got over an elbow issue. So is the elbow all good? Now it's just a toe. You know what I'm saying? He's operating. He's definitely shut down. I would shut down Marshawn Lattimore. I would shut down Mike Thomas. And Trey Hendrickson with a groin is limited only because, and I would give Trey some rest, but I wouldn't because I know Dennis Allen lacks imagination to go to players on his team to do something. And I appreciate 985 and Kevin for sending me some links. 985 sent me an interview from Michael Hodges, who was on WWL Radio, who was talking about, and Bobby Hebert asked a good question about what's going on and why what's up with Zach Bowen, and do you guys intend on using him in the defense and in the capacity, which was a great question. But see, I expect Bobby Hebert to ask that kind of question because Bobby Hebert is a former Saint. He's from here, so he's a lifetime Saint fan, and he asked the right questions, the questions that matter. He asked Hodges, and Hodges said that they're allowing him to work with Ryan Nielsen more and more. They should have been did that, man. When he came in the door, that should have been the gauge. So slow on the trigger this year. I'm noticing that, and I'm not happy about that. They slow on the trigger. They're like 2 or 3 moves out of a phase out of actual reality. Think about it. A lot of the Saints moves are slow. They're back ass. The Kamara deal was slow and back ass. The hustle man threw together move to go run out to Houston to try to do a sign and trade to get a Clowney. That was back ass. The signings that we have that was in the end season signings must be done by the alternative to Mickey Loomis and Sean Payton because these moves make no sense. They're signing a bunch of practice squad canned goods, great value guys that will not impact the team in a positive fashion at all. We know that because you won't play them. Not looking at any cheap veteran that can come in that can provide a service for injured players, or not even using players that are drafted. They just started using some of these drafted guys, the draft picks. We're getting more production from the undrafted players than we are from the drafted guys. That's stupid. We just got Cesar Ruiz started for his first full game, and that was 4 games in, what was it? That was 4 games. Yeah. Yeah, 4 damn games into the regular season. Ruiz just got a chance to start full time. 4 games in. Still haven't seen Adam Troutman. Somebody must have caught him in the bass net or something. He still haven't seen enough for Troutman. Zach Bourne had 1 special team tackle. He's non-existent. And Tommy Stevens is on the practice squad. I mean, what's the point of having a draft if you don't even use none of these guys to help you win games? And you play them right now to give them opportunities to learn so we can keep this thing going. Because you obviously not going to bring in the veterans to help out. Who that to you, James? Good to see you in the chat as well. Big ups to you, fam. Nola Baby says, hey, when does Kiko Alonso return, family? We can really use him. That's not until way later, my friend. That guy doesn't come until way later in the season. Way later. So we got a ways to go before we see a Kiko Alonso, bro, just to let you know. All right. Kevin says, A-Bear's not scared. No, you ain't scared to pay. Why? It's just most of these gutless reporters. Demi says, why does Tommy Lee name sound so familiar? He been on the team several times. Roy says, shut down Peyton's play calling. Oh, that's a good one, Roy. All right. Let's see. James says, Q. I think Mike being out is finally going to help Traquan be the receiver we need and develop. Sean's getting on my damn nerves. We need to trade for a defensive end. I think holding picks, maybe trade up for QB. I don't think they get rid of the picks, bro. You know, with them having to shave off 20+ million to get under the cap next year, they're going to hold tight to those picks. You know, you can get cheap talent in the undrafted market and drafting guys, so I don't anticipate them getting rid of the picks. But there are talented defensive players out there, Clay Matthews, Jabal Shord, Cameron Wake and the likes. There are guys like that out there that can help right now for next to nothing. It's just they don't have the imagination to go out and get these guys and fit them into the defense. You know? Sad said they moved to get Barn and acting like he's the best thing since bread. Child, please. And didn't put him on the field. Total mismanagement by the Saints, says GM Kev. JT says, what about linebacker from Miami? From Miami? Oh, you talk about Kiko Alonso. He's on IR. It doesn't return until way late in the season, that JT. Gundam says, shut down Davenport, Pete, Lattimore, play after bye week. I agree, bro. That's what I'm saying. We shut these guys down. But anyway, Malcolm Jenkins dealing with, he's limited. Trey Hendrickson dealing with the groin. Janoris Jenkins is really interesting to me. The Jackrabbit dealing with a shoulder, did not practice. That says a lot, man. I don't know. And of course, Hardy and Deontay Harris. We got to look out for those guys as well with them. Let's move on to the Chargers injury report. They have a lot of players on their pick too. Trey Turner, who's a very good offensive guard for them. He dealing with a groin issue as well. Brian Bulaga, the former Green Bay Packer offensive tackle, did not practice. Wide receiver Mike Williams, their other big, fantastic wide receiver, is out with that hamstring issue. Austin Eckler, he's going to be gone for a while with a hamstring, about 4 to 6 weeks, I'm hearing. Joey Bosa dealing with tricep and knee issues, did not practice. Tyrod Taylor, remember he has shattered ribs. He has broken ribs, man. And his guy's limited. That's insane that this man trying to play football with broken ribs, man. That's amazing. It just speak, sometimes I love football, but you can speak to the insanity of the mindset of a player who love football so much that he's playing with broken ribs and the guy can crack him, fold his ass up. And Tyrod Taylor, at least 2 or 3 times a season, gets caught right at the right angle where he gets folded like a lawn chair and he knocked out of the game. I don't remember the last time Tyrod Taylor finished an entire season. He always starts the season off good, and then somebody catches him and folds him up like a lawn chair, and he out for extended period of time, end up losing his job. Look like history repeating itself. But Anthony Lynn did say Tyrod Taylor cannot lose his starting job to injury. So if he's good to go, do you then put Tyrod Taylor in there? That's the thing. All right, Dan Feeney is fully practiced. He was dealing with an elbow. Safety Nasir Adderley is fully practiced. And also safety Rashawn Jenkins fully practiced. Long snapper Cole Mazza. Linebacker Kenneth Murray Jr., who I like a lot. He has an ankle. That was the kid from Oklahoma. Fully practiced. And, of course, Storm Norton and Jerry Tillery are able to fully practice. So, Saints injury list, man. We'll look at it tomorrow on Friday. But that's a lot of people, man. Starter. Supposed to be starter right now. Starter. Impact, the special teams player, Pro Bowl return man. That's a lot of starters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 starters. 8 starters are hurt. Wow. Anyway, let's go on to what happened. So you see the injury report now. we look at the Saints and what they got coming up next, and the Saints did cut Will Clapp again. So they put the Clapp in the street, and that's a shame because the streets don't need no more of the Clapp. But that's where he is. Saints waived Will Clapp again days after signing him to the active roster. And I like this article because it actually details. And I in my head when I seen this, I said, man, Clapp is going to become the new. He's going to become the new J.T. Barrett. And the article made mention of it. That's what but before I even actually said it. But New Orleans Saints reported 2 moves on the daily NFL transaction wire, and the signing of wide receiver Tommy Lee Lewis to the practice squad and the waiving of offensive lineman Will Clapp from the 53-man roster. So to clear a spot for Tommy Lee, they put Will Clapp in the street and signed Tommy Lee, and I guarantee he'd be activated for this game. This comes just days after Clapp was signed to the roster from the practice squad, which he was preceded by him first being waived on September the 26th. That's kind of tough to follow, so the timeline is laid out a little clearer. Of course, September 26th, they waived him. They signed him on the 29th. October the 3rd, promoted him to the active roster, and now he is cut again. The Saints practice squad is back to 16. Capacity cornerback Ken Crawley and tight end Jared Griffin reverted back to the practice squad again. So it's not immediately certain that Clapp will return, but this does suggest there is a pattern to his transactions as the Saints work within the limits of the NFL roster rules. It's a familiar territory for them. It's weird because the Saints have, remember that young wide receiver the Saints signed last week or the week before that had very little NFL experience? So you mean you would keep a wide receiver that you have absolutely no intentions of using and put Will Clapp, a guy with veteran experience in the street? I just don't know who makes these moves. I mean, what's the logic behind these moves? It just seems like they just put a blindfold on and throw a dart at the target. I don't understand. But the Saints signed and waived him, and let's see, it's familiar territory for them. The Saints signed, waived, and re-signed practice squad quarterback J.T. Barrett 28 times between May the 2018 to October the 2019, which came just short of former wideout Andy Tanner. Remember wide receiver Andy Tanner, who was with the Saints off and on for about 4 or 5 years? From 2011 to 2015, he was involved in 29 Saint roster moves. Clapp is somewhere they're comfortable with dressing with from games in a pinch, but also a player the Saints trust can pass through waivers uncontested because nobody want him. I mean, that's pretty much what the guy is saying here, and he's true. Nobody gonna pick up on that guy. And we'll see. He'll clear waivers again. We'll see the gamble payoff of this time is up in New Orleans, depending on how Thursday's injury report shakes out. Clapp services may longer be needed. Left guard Andrews Pete is working on returning from an injury. Veteran backup James Hurst just came off the suspended list, and Hurst can play either the left tackle or the left guard. So you're right, and you're right on Clapp. Clapp might not be needed. And plus, Cameron Thomas sitting there with Kelvin Throckmorton. So it might be time for Clapp to finally, his time might be over with. Me personally, I would have took that wide receiver that you're never going to use off of that and put Clapp on that because you always can use some extra linemen there. You never know. But that's the story right there, family. Saints waive Clapp to activate, to bring Tommy Lee Lewis to the practice squad. And you better believe when the time comes, they're going to activate Tommy Lee Lewis to the active roster and probably going to deal with bringing him in. So that's some of the stories right there, family, as we come back to the main screen here. And that's the funny part. We're watching everything dealing with the Saints and the bottom line, like I said, they have the Chargers, like many teams, are banged up right now. We want to know if they're going to run the ball, if the Saints are going to run the ball, and that's all I really care about. I think the Saints defense will step up. They most certainly will improve. Improve. Jenkins is banged up there. Marcus Williams is perfectly fine. Alex Anzalone is perfectly fine because these guys are tiptoeing through the tulips. It's hard to get broken up or a knee issue when Jenkins is coming up to the line of scrimmage to cover everybody because the linebackers can't do it, or if they running a dime package, they want to use his and have him, Marcus Williams, as far away from the line of scrimmage as possible. Williams and Alex Anzalone are perfectly fine. No injuries from those guys because Alex Anzalone is playing super safely. Just keeping it real with you. Boy, Alex Anzalone playing so safe, man. He ain't stepping on nothing, man. He tiptoeing, he looking before he leap. And then he look and don't leap. Alex Anzalone, man, like I told you, he ain't playing the same way. He ain't playing with his hair on fire, man. I don't like that version of Alex Anzalone. I don't like that dude. Oh, no, I don't like that. You got to play with your hair on fire. And if that kind of guy we going to get, we don't want that kind of guy. We like Alex Anzalone, the guy with his hair on fire. And if you're scared, get bigger goddamn shoulder pads. I keep saying that. You got the same shoulder pads on. You had 4 or 5, I forget, surgeries on your shoulder. And you got the same, or probably maybe a half a size up. You need bigger shoulder pads, represent more protection, dude. You know? Anyway, let's revert to the chat here. Big ups to the family members in the live stream. Thank y'all for joining us on this edition. Joshua Hoover, who that to you, fam? Good to see you, says Big Q. When these multiple first rounders we have on defense going to step up and start producing day in and day out, I don't know, bro. The defensive line, to be honest with you, Joshua, has done a pretty decent job in stopping the run. They're top 5 unit in the league in stopping the run. So, I mean, they've done that. The linebacker core has not, is kind of not all of it's cracked up to be in the secondary struggling. And that's because of a lot of factors. And the factors, of course, them being on the field too long, they get tired. And then the reality is there is no depth behind our top three cornerbacks. I've said that. You know, if you see those guys getting hurt, then who you got? And then all of a sudden we have a Justin Hardy. Nobody wants to see Justin Hardy. I would rather see Ken Crawley before I see Justin Hardy out there. Seriously. He can't play the cornerback position. You can't rely on him. He'll get cooked out there. He'll be served up. He's Seafood City. That's what Justin Hardy is as a cornerback, playing in your secondary. He's Seafood City, meaning a fantastic buffet. They're gonna feast on him. That's what I mean when I say Seafood City. Shaq says barbecue chicken. He loves barbecue chicken. Well, hell, I like seafood. And I say Seafood City, and I mean any type of seafood that you could possibly want. That's what Justin Hardy is. Seafood City. What's Ken Crawley? Seafood City. They all sitting in the same building. And that's called the Seafood City group. That's what you call those guys, because the quarterback see them and he says, dinner. But listen, man, that's because of them, bro. That's on them, man. It's like, oh, Q, we can't prophesize. We don't have a crystal ball. We can't listen and look down and find out. Man, shut up. We did. You know you could, because we did. We sat up here all damn off season long. And I'm not tooting my horn, but I'm talking truth, man. We sat up here all season long and say you need more veteran depth. You need more talent behind Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. If any one of our top 3 get hurt, we're going to be in trouble. And what we looking like, both of them guys are on the injury list. Both of them didn't play last week. We had to rely on 3rd and 4th string ass cornerback to get in there and play. Same thing with Trey Hendrickson. Still ain't bring no defensive end in here to take the pressure off of Trey Hendrickson. And I told y'all, the man's still suffering with a groin issue. But you don't bring nothing in there. You don't try to wake up and take none of the players, none of the draft pick, none of Bourne. Ruiz just started playing, just started his first game against the last week against the Lions. You know, Zach Bourne missing in action. Adam Troutman missing in action, 1 catch on the season. I'm like, what? And then Jared Cook missing. Adam Troutman was supposed to show up. What was Troutman at? Nothing. You get zeros. Nothing from those guys right now, and that needs to change. We need to get these guys involved. We need to get Zach Bourne involved. And I heard what Hodges said about not playing. We just don't play in the 4-3 that much. And I said that when the season started. I said, man, the Saints are not going to be playing that much football in their base defense. If y'all remember that, put 1 in the chat. I said that, man, because the way the offenses are packed, a lot of the offenses, when they're passing the ball more than they're running the ball, actually they're coming out of passing formations a lot more than what they usually would do. You know, they're trying to predicate using the passing game more in the new NFL. And a lot of these packages are coming out of passing packages, similar to what Sean Payton is trying to keep up with that trend. You know, but you don't have to do that. You can, if you're smart, you can make your own way of doing things. So more necessarily when you play teams, they're going to operate with 3 wide receiver sets. That means that takes your 43 defense completely out of there. You would have to go to the modified nickel and stay in the modified nickel the majority of the game. I'm telling you, the Saints 4-3 scheme probably was used less than 5 times in that last game. Very rarely I say less than 5 times you'll see the 43 defense out there. I'm telling you, because that's the film. But so if you know that, why didn't you then go and fortify your defensive backs with veterans and guys that can fill in a moment's notice for guys? They said, well, Ken Crawley did pretty well last week, Q. You seen? I said, yeah, that's a difference when you stick Ken Crawley out there and nobody know he coming out there. That's a difference than knowing that he's coming out there versus knowing that he's there. Because if I'm the offensive coordinator, I find what Ken Crawley is and I go to the wide receiver that he on. I know. I study his tape and I know this guy right here is a weak link. Let's throw at him. Let's throw at him. And that's what they're going to do. So people like, Q, he did good. Like, yeah, they did good last week. But when you got to take the tape to actually study on the team, you find out who the weak guys is. And that's what you do as an offensive coordinator. You look for mismatches. What does that mean when you look for mismatches? Mismatches mean you find the weak-ass links on the other side of the football field, wherever they might come at. And you look at the defense and you see Seafood City right and left on the Saints secondary. Seafood City right and left in the Saints secondary. You got seafood secondary, Seafood City. Get everything. You get your boiled corn, your boiled potatoes, you get your shrimp. You got it, man. You get it all, man. You put the sausage in there. I mean, you got it. It's all, man. It got your mouth watering at Seafood City. Seafood City. And it ain't very pretty. It's Seafood City, and it ain't very pretty. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Anyway, big ups to the family members. Thank you, Joshua. Who that to your fam? Appreciate you in the chat as well. Crass, what's up with my dog Crass in the building? Good to see you in there, fam. Much love to you. Gary Caraway, what up, Gary? Good to see you, fam. He says, Peyton, turn up the heat on your team because NFL's building a storyline on Tom Brady, how he came to the South and took over. You better believe it, bro. You better believe it. You got to run the ball, man, to neutralize that. And we're going to knock a lot of dust off of that storyline when we take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in about 2 or 3 or 4 weeks from now. Really close. We'll be able to deal with that and got to go to Tampa and take care of business. But I'm very enthused about the Saints prospects. If we can stick to the running attack, we'll be fine. Bro, listen. Let me say that, and I've said this before, and I'm on record here for saying that, family. If we run the ball like we did against the Detroit Lions, 40-plus times a game against this Chargers club, we could beat this team. And if the mindset coming out is to run the ball to the point where defensive coordinators say, oh, we got to stop the Saints running, let me tell you something. The Saints are going to be fine, bro. I'm telling you, because the reason why they're struggling is because the defensive coordinators are playing the pass and not the rush. So if we can force a philosophy change, we can then zone into the natural thing that we love to do, which is the passing. And then they'll say, okay, we got to switch back. And then the Saints start running. And then you see what I'm saying? And you keep them topsy-turvy. You keep them off. You throw off the team's defensive equilibrium because they don't know exactly what you're going to do. I don't know if they're going to pass or they're going to run. And you got them where you want them once you got that. It's all over. Now it's Seafood City in your favor for that. But it's real, man. You got to. It's no doubt about it. You got to handle your goddamn business and run the football. And if we run the football like we did against the Detroit Lions last week against these next teams coming up, and we take it a week-by-week approach, we could, man, I'm telling you, we can finish the season. We can win 13 or 14 games. I'm telling y'all, there is nobody in the NFL that can deal with the Saints offense when they're balanced. Now, you talk about the Chiefs on the other side, and the Chiefs have something fantastic, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see if it's a flame out effect that can happen with the Kansas City. They're starting off on fire. Can they maintain it? They are a good team indeed, But injuries are starting to add up. Injuries are adding up. They're coming. You know, whether you get yours now or get them later. And let me tell you, Baltimore with Lamar Jackson is getting pissed about that team, and he's making it a mission to defeat Mahomes and take them Chief boys down. You know, I like the Chiefs, man. I like how they build their team, man. But the reality is, the Saints got to run the football, man. That's what it come down to. And that's why I was kind of a little annoyed, beyond annoyed, starting to show up when we listening to the reporters. And the reporters are not asking the questions. The biggest question that true Saints people, I ain't talking about passerbyers or bandwagon ass people. I'm talking about true Saints, let me retract that, family members. True Saints family members want to know is if Sean Payton is going to stick to the run like he did in the Detroit game. That's all I want to know. After that, I can turn the damn thing off. I don't care about whether Drew playing the Las Vegas Chargers. And I don't care about that. I really don't care about that. That's something that you talk about when the season is over with and you want to reflect on something. That's fine, that kind of question. But that means nothing to me at this point. We want to know what we want to know. And that's the big question is, will they stick to the running attack? And that's a huge question because it literally decides whether or not the Saints will win or lose games. Because we should not, and I guarantee, and I say this loud and proud to you guys, we should not lose a game to the Chargers. We should beat this team by at least 2 points. We should sack that quarterback by at least 5 times in the dome. We should be able to run the ball 40 times for about 150 yards, use 3 running backs to do it, have 3 rushing attacks, 2 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns, 5 sacks, 1 pick, and had this guy completely rattled and turned around. We should not lose to no Chargers. And I'm not putting the Chargers down, but I'm saying you're dealing with a team that's dealing with a bunch of injuries, a lot of their people hurt. Darwin James, Melvin Ingram, they had a phenomenal defense when they're healthy. Excellent coach in Anthony Lynn. I like him a lot. You know, if Anthony Lynn ever got fired, I would love to have Anthony Lynn on his staff for real. If he ever lost his job with the Chargers, I would be like, man, Anthony Lynn, I think he's a defensive coordinator by trade. I would love to have him on this team. I like Anthony Lynn that much. He's a good coach. You know, he ain't working with much out there, but it's going to give him a time. He's going to be it. But if they ever got rid of him by mistake, you know, man, he should be coming. I like him a lot. He should be our coordinator. All right, let's keep it going. JT says, Q, I never seen how all the sports talking so much about Tampa. I know, bro. It's a narrative, man, and that's why the old media got to be destroyed and ran off. That's why I'm always promoting independent media. I always promote guys that's doing it. Because the passion resides with those guys. Them other guys out there, they doing all that for money and for a check. You know, they don't have, you know what I'm saying? It's a difference, and y'all can tell. And then they go along with the narrative. They reading off of teleprompters. I doubt they can hold a straight conversation with you for 10 goddamn minutes without having to look at the screen to see what they can read. I mean, seriously, man, they don't have brains in their head unless somebody feeding them lines. You know? Though they're more concerned about how their hair looking if they got the high definition makeup on than whether or not they're going to tell the truth or not. And that's why I was talking about last year. It's like, okay, it's an issue. Even when you get to sports and politics, they just lie their ass off. Ain't no doubt about it. But when you come to sports, you know, you see that narrative as well. It's a narrative of painting, or we have this, that, third. Because a lot of it is scripted. And I told y'all that. I don't hide from y'all and not tell y'all that. Y'all know that. I tell y'all, I say, yeah, it's scripted. And the NFL controlled it through its referees. How many times y'all heard me hear that? How many times y'all heard me say that? It's scripted. They control the game through the referees. That's why you can't criticize them. That's why you can't say nothing about them, whether or not they did it or not. You can't criticize them. And then the guys, when they do these things, they don't lose no money. They don't get fired. You know, all that. They keep them. They keep them. That's because they doing the work of what them people telling them to do. They sit on top of that and they do the bidding of the NFL to try to manipulate the games. When they're close, they can't do it when they fall apart. See, it's not an exact science. You could beat them if you blow the team out, and then they would have to cheat noticeably to see and be called to the spotlight. They would have to come in the spotlight. They're roaches. They don't want to run up into the spotlight where the light at. They know that man sitting there with that shoe to smash their ass. But the reality is, man, that's why I'm a big advocate of the local media and independent media guys, like Sport Talk 365 and Goose here in the chat. Guys like that, man, the independent media. I pray to the Most High in the heavens that those brothers and more like them be empowered to be the future of what media is supposed to be in this country. Because the ones we got now, they need to be tore apart because they're terrible. Y'all know I don't hurt with pull little punches on it. I know that. I know I calls them out. They fake. They con man. You can't talk about the Saints. And they gonna avoid you. They ain't gonna notice on ESPN, they don't open up the phone lines when they on Sports Center. They don't open up the phone lines to talk to nobody. They sit up there and read to you for 2 or 3 goddamn hours off a teleprompter and bring in people or the experts to tell you what it is. Why y'all don't take no calls, huh? Why y'all don't answer up the phone and take real calls, huh? Even if they offered up the phone, they probably just have a bunch of their surrogates to call and ask milquetoast questions. That's how controlled and fake these people are, man. They are not. They have absolutely no credibility, man. That's why I said stop giving them your energy. Pull from their crap. Can't watch all them games and then come to my Saints and say the Saints are this, that, and the third. You don't know a goddamn thing about my Saints. You sit up there reading off a stat sheet, reading about you. It's no way possible you watching every game, every full game in the NFL to know exactly what happened, play by play. Of course you're not doing that. Of course not. But you're gonna pretend like you are. Well, I could tell the difference. I can, in your commentary, I could tell that you didn't watch the whole game. I could tell that you get most of your commentaries off of highlights. We watched the whole game. We're involved in the game. Bottom line. Let's move on. All right. Big ups to the family. Sad side says, yep, I had to say Alex has lost his hustle. He worried about long hair Hurd trying to get a contract with Head & Shoulders. Well, the thing about it too, bro, he need to worry about getting a contract with the New Orleans Saints, sad guy. He on his last year here. He ain't playing with his hair on fire. He can have that contract and let his contract with Head & Shoulders and let it take his ass right up out of here. Because the reality is we don't need cautious, scary, tiptoe through the tulips Alex Anzalone. We need hair on fire Alex Anzalone. The Alex Anzalone we had here for the last 2 or 3 years, minus the injuries, but having the proper equipment on to brace for that. If you know you keep having shoulder problems, what's the answer? Get bigger shoulder pads. I just don't understand. You don't have to play like you're scared. He playing scared. That's what that is. That's what playing scared looks like. He said, "Oh, now I'm just playing cautious." No, you're scared. You're playing scared. JT says, "Q, you really think that Patrick Robinson is doing good because he was bad? He's doing okay, bro. He's a third cornerback. I really listen. Truth be told, I don't want Patrick Robinson on this team. I don't want PJ Williams on this team. Really, I don't. I don't want Ken Crawley on this team. But Sean Payton keep on signing these dudes. We got rid of Patrick Robinson when he was a bust when we drafted him in the first round out of Florida State. And all he did was get burned and toasted. I remember when we was playing against Steve Smith when he was with the Carolina Panthers. Steve Smith was giving him his lunch, was taking his lunch, and Patrick Robinson was Seafood City. He was at the buffet, and Steve Smith had a big ass bib on, eating Seafood City all day. Matter of fact, he was talking all up in his face, and Patrick Robinson was pretending like he ain't said. And it's hard for me. I'm a man, and I'm playing football, and you got another dude, and he catching passes on you, and the guy talking to you in your face is Steve Smith, and Patrick Robinson standing up there guarding him and looking the other way like he on him. For real? You gonna let that dude talk to you like that? That showed me a lot. Like I said, get rid of that guy. You don't got no heart. You don't let nobody. I don't care who it is, stand in front of you and talk at you like that. You tear the ass up best way you can. But he wasn't even talking back. I guess he was scared. But the thing is, with Ken Crawley is another dude whose technique is really flawed. These guys, they can't cover. They don't turn around and locate the ball. Say, Q, what you got a problem with him? I said, I got a problem with him. PJ Williams, he's out of position the majority of the time. He's easily faked out. I mean, anybody could fake. You could put a 4th, 5th string ass wide receiver in front of PJ Williams. He make a move on him and step to the left and then cut right. PJ all the way over there somewhere. He 15 feet all the way over there somewhere. It's easy. He don't pay attention to nothing. Like Deion said, watch the hips. You can tell that fool that 1,000,000 times. He'll still go in there and watch the feet. And I mean, if I know what Deion Sanders know, and this guy, he knows that too. Deion, he came out of Florida. He came from Florida State. Hell, he came from where Deion Sanders played collegiately. So it's not like he never heard of Deion Sanders. Deion came from Florida State, PJ Williams, where PJ Williams came from? Did he come from Florida State? Y'all let me know. I knew he came from Florida somewhere. I won't say it was Florida State. That's what I won't say if I remember correctly. So did Patrick Robinson. Patrick Robinson came from Florida State too. So how you come from the same university that the greatest cornerback in the history of pro football come from, and you don't learn nothing from him? You don't even listen to him and watch his. I mean, it's what it is, man. I put the film on. Them dudes can't tell me nothing, man. I said, put the film on, bro. You all over the place. Why you watching the man feet? You know you're supposed to be watching his hips. That's why you get faked out so easily. That's why you out of position so easily. And then you quick to grab because you're not confident. You be grabbing and holding the dude when you ain't supposed to. I'm like, you know why they grab and hold him outside of 5? Because he know he gonna get burnt. Only a non-confident cornerback, a non-confident ass cornerback would be grabbing and holding on the man while he trying to go through. You know that's pass interference, bro. Why you doing that? You think you're going to get away with it with 1,000 cameras out there? And let me tell you, Ken Crawley. Ken Crawley took P.J. Williams' job. He was an undrafted guy. He played 4 years as a starter with the Colorado Buffaloes. That's right, Ken Crawley. And then when he came to the team undrafted, he took P.J. Williams' job. And then started playing, then he lost his confidence. Because he kept doing dumb stuff out there, and the people was calling him out, saying, Ken Crawley, why you not turning around locating the ball? All you have to do is when the wide receiver see the guy, when the cornerback looking at the wide receiver is then turning around and locate the ball. That's a sign to let you know, hey, the ball's on his way. The ball's on his way. What Ken Crawley do? Stand up there. You know how many times, y'all remember the last year Ken Crawley was here and he was playing cornerback? Y'all remember that 6 balls hit Ken Crawley in his back? Do y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? I remember that year. I was fussing about it on this show. I said, Ken Crawley, the guy threw the ball to Ken Crawley. Had he turned around and caught the ball, and located the ball and done the proper technique, he would have had 6 interceptions that year. He would have led the team in interceptions that year. 6 passes, I counted 6 balls from the quarterback hit Ken Crawley in his back because he wasn't even turning around locating the ball. He was too busy playing the wide receiver. He could never turned around to locate the ball. If he'd done that, he would have had 6 interceptions that year because they was throwing to this side because they knew he was garbage, to the point where they had the Saints say, okay, that's enough. Let's pull him down there. Y'all remember that? I'm telling you, man. So they say, well, Q, what you got a problem? That's why, and we can't get rid of these guys. We can't not get rid of these guys. I thought we got rid of Patrick Robinson and he back with more money. You got to take more money away and then he's still here. I'm like, okay, PJ, well, he back too. What? And then here come Q. We just tried him out, Q. He ain't going to sign. And then next day, same thing they did with Tommy Lee Lewis. Same shit they did with Tommy Lee Lewis. Oh, they just got a little look-see and then 2 days later he signed to the practice squad. The next game, he on active roster playing. He did good, Q. He did good because nobody was targeting him. Now watch when they study the tape and go back over it and say, well, if we go to this package, this guy's going to be out here. We have an opportunity we could throw at him. I'm telling you how this worked, man. But it is what it is. Y'all know. All right, let's keep it going, fam. He said, how do we double number 13 or tight end? How do we double number 13? Or the tight end? Well, listen. My thing is, bro, rushing for and covering up the passing lanes, you got to get pressure. But you look, this quarterback does run. He will scramble on you. He ain't the fastest guy in the room, but he will get going on you. He will run on you. The Saints going to have to do a job of not only stopping the run, which I think they can do, but they will have to hold containment. Meaning when you blitz, you got to blitz under control. You can't blitz and leave wide open gaps for the quarterback to sneak out and have a 15-yard pickup because the closest guy to him is way up the field. You can't do that. You can't do that. So it's going to be, we have problems with the tight ends, bro. We most certainly do. We having problems covering the tight ends right now. We having problems right now with the quarterback sneaking out of there. So we got some work to do on the defense, man, because I thought we solved this 2 years ago when everybody knew the Saints couldn't cover the tight end. You got to be able to cover the tight end. And this Hunter dude is a good tight end, and they're going to try to throw to him. That's the quarterback. So young, and if this rookie playing, he's going to throw at that tight end. And then Keenan Allen, man, is a hell of a wide receiver. So I don't know who's going to play. If it's Marshawn, I don't want Marshawn Lattimore out there with a hamstring injury trying to guard Keenan Allen. I mean, listen, Keenan Allen is a beast, man. And that Hunter kid, the tight end, they're good. So you will have to get pressure on this quarterback. You got to rattle them. And we got to cover up those guys to the best of our ability, man. That's why I kept saying cornerbacks. You need cornerbacks. You need help there. You think we'd be having a problem with that if, and listen, I don't know what's going on with Alex Anzalone, man. He ain't doing it a good job. They might have to make an adjustment because you're dealing with, it's Dennis Allen's job is to say, okay, we got to use Malcolm Jenkins to cover the Hunter, the tight end. Jenkins dealing with a knee issue. You might have to think of something else. You might have to think of something else. You know, we'll see, man. We'll see. All right, Kevin says ESPN is fake. Demi says Q is it's a no to running the ball through the entire game with the Chargers. That's right. You got to run the ball, but you got to throw the ball too. And like last game, Sean Payton was running the ball to the point where Detroit actually started to stop the run in the third. And I was like, okay, now it's time for you to throw it. And he just kept running it. What's wrong with you? Dude, just look, run the ball. They adjusted to the run. Now you can throw it. They're stacking. They're putting the guys in the box now, Coach Payton. Now throw the ball. I mean, come on, dude. Come on. That's the point. The point is, like I said, and I continue to say, you run the ball until the running game becomes a threat. Then when they start situating assets to stop the running attack, then you throw the ball. But the idea is to throw when they're thinking run and to run when they're thinking throw. That's how you're supposed to get the majority of your success, is to do the opposite of what they think you're going to do. That's how you keep them confused. That's what all of the misdirection about. That's why all of the funny verbiage on the field is about. It's to fool the defense into thinking that you're about to do something you're about to do a whole nother thing. That's the idea. All right, let's keep going. Nola Baby says Strahan need makeup too to fill the gaps between his teeth. I thought he would get that fixed with all that money he got. Gundam says Tyra, he can't. He's the son of Odin. All right. Nola says Alexander doesn't deserve a nickname right now. He's looking like Delonte West out there. Yeah, he's definitely not looking good. Kenny says Florida State. We got two Florida. Don't ever draft any more secondary players out of Florida State. All right, fam. That is we don't have a good record in doing that. We are 0 for 2 when drafting guys out of Florida State. So no more Florida State cornerbacks. P.J. Williams and Patrick Robertson were utter busts. No more guys from Florida State. All right, let's keep it going there. All right, Chira says no dog since Darren Sharp and Vilma. Silas Walker says Saints take the game. Thank you, Silas. Who that to you? Bobby says not Nigel, just better. Who that to you, Bobby Walker? Good to see you in the chat, bro. He says, not Nigel, just because he says just better decisions from Dennis Allen. We have Caden Ellis and Zach Barnes in the back, plus Kiko on IR. We got to do something with those guys. You're right. We got to use Caden Ellis and Zach Barnes. I said that before. I said the last several shows, I said we must use these guys on the team. Caden Ellis, if anything, Caden Ellis and Zach Barnes are extremely fast linebackers. We have to be able to use them in some kind of way in a Saints situational pass rush. We got to. Some kind of way we got to incorporate these guys in a special package when you know they're going to pass and just boom, you throw them out there and those guys blitz, but they don't blitz, they able to get around there and make a play, catching, a flash sack or what have you. We got to get that speed out there because I don't anticipate the Saints bringing anybody else in. So we're going to have to look to the young guys to help us out right now. All right. Let's see. William says PJ was at Florida State. He was deserving MVP in championship game. Yeah, what happened? Some aliens must have abducted the real PJ Williams and give us a pod baby or something. I don't know. This guy is yeah, I got you, Bobby. I know who you're talking about. All right. Torres says he's been trash to me. He was the face guard, Ken Crawley. Yeah, Ken Crawley was terrible. That's what I'm saying, man. Why are you bringing him back here? You didn't want him. You got rid of him because he was bad the first time. The Cardinals and the Raiders didn't want him. And then you say, hey, we want you. And you have Kevon Webster, Mo Claiborne. These guys are better cornerbacks than this guy. And you bring him back here. I don't get that. But we gonna see. We're gonna keep Hold'em Hook of TV. What up, fam? Hold'em Hook. Mike in the building. Good to see you, fam. Jermaine, who that? So I don't know if it's just the Bears is garbage or Tampa Bay defense is looking good. Tampa gonna beat the Bears. Nick is playing horrible. All right. I forgot about that Thursday night game. All right, let's keep it going. JT said, like I said, Dennis Allen has a plateau. He has plateaued. Okay, I got you, bro. He needs a man. I don't know. I just too predictable, too vanilla. I don't know, bro. I don't know about Dennis Allen, man. He don't have much imagination. That's what I've recognized from Dennis Allen since he's been out here, bro. You don't have very much defensive imagination. You have all those weapons on your defensive team, and you struggling getting them time on the field. I mean, I just don't get that. All right, fam, let's keep on going. I'm going to exhaust the chat here. Mark 504, what up, Mark? Good to see you in the chat. Roy says DB should be nicknamed the Boomerangs. Throw them away and they come right back. Yeah, ain't no doubt about it. Ain't no doubt about it. We can't shake these guys for whatever reason. We can't get rid of them. He says we'll lose the time of possession in this game because of Keenan Allen, number 3 wide. Yeah, well, that's a difficult cover for an injury-plagued secondary. To have Keenan Allen out there, and a lot of people don't talk too much about Keenan Allen, but let me tell you, he's a hell of a wide receiver. He's a hell of a wide receiver. Matter of fact, he's the number one thing you need to worry about on defense if you're the New Orleans Saints. The number one thing, and we'll talk about that tomorrow on the Friday show. When we come back Friday, we'll do the Saints versus the Chargers preview show. We'll bring up the depth charts. We'll bring out the statistics. We'll have the Friday injury report. We'll have interviews, and we'll dedicate whatever that whole show toward breaking down the game. And then we'll put Keenan Allen, and he's the top dude. He's the top guy you need to be concerned about if you're the New Orleans Saints defense. Number one, absolutely, it's all about him. And then second is the tight end, and third is that little running back they have, Kelly, who's a pretty decent little fill-in for Eckler. He's actually a pretty decent guy, but the Saints' run defense is okay. But I'm a little leery about Keenan Allen and Hunter. So Henry Hunter, I mean, they hit us where it hurts, man. You know, we'll see how it shakes. It's going to be interesting, though. But that'll be tomorrow's show. All right, who that to you? All right, Larry, who that to you, Larry? Good to see you there. Who that to you, bro? Good to see you, Lance. What up, Lance? He said, I said we called Brett Maxey. Old Brett Maxey. All right, Adrian, who that to you? Big ups to Adrian in the building as well. And the rest of the family members chime. Iceman said, Iceman, who that to you? He said, I'm not going to lie, fam. The Bucs are looking pretty good right now. Saints going to have to take the division back. They're the Bears, so not going to do us no favor tonight, it looks like. Hopefully they lose, but I don't know. Tom Brady and catching the stride. They catching the stride. We got to shut them down. Lance Baptiste, who that to you, Lance? Says they brought Crawley back because he only wanted a food card. Because he wanted a food card and a po' boy. I got you, Lance. That had to be the reason, bro. No other reason. All right. Nola Boss says Keenan Allen is the monster. He is, bro. You got to watch out for Keenan Allen, man. And then they had that other guy, the other wide receiver, who's a big wide receiver. Because, yeah, Keenan's a speed guy. But he's not just a speed guy. He's speed and catch. He can do it. He's terrific. Then they had Big Mike Williams out there, who's like the red zone possession guy, big physical wide receiver. You know, they have a really good offense, and they got Henry Hunter, the tight end's pretty good. The offensive line is okay. They're dealing with some injuries, but they're all right. They was picking the Chargers to be a team that if they can get healthy, they can more than likely put something together and try to wield in a back spot in the playoff race. We catching them at the right time. They're dealing with a lot of injuries. And the fact that the Saints offense, it's been a month since a month of games played, and 3 to 4 has been a preseason month, a preseason regular season month of football. Now with the next month coming in November, it's time for regular season football from the Saints. So you should see a much improved offense from the Saints in the Chargers game, enough to get us into the bye week. We should be able to beat this team by at least 10 points. Using a running game, stealing possessions away from them, we should be fine. But here I'm going into my I'm gonna save that for tomorrow's show. Trail, what up, Trail? Who that to you, Trail? Good to see you in the chat as well. Mark says, not worried about the Chargers at all. Thank you, Mark. Bobby says, I live in San Diego, worked out with him as an all-pro. If Phillip wasn't playing, he said wasn't playing so back. All right, Nola says Bucks had 7 times, has held the ball 7 times, 10 points. Bears are just bad. All right, Jim Kemp said, hey, Q, talk about the return team on special teams not blocking. That is true. And we talked about that on TSC Q&A before, bro. We brought it up. And yeah, I was looking, I was saying, man, listen, Tommy Morstead, man, has looked awful, man. You know what I'm saying? We pulled up the statistics in TSC Q&A on Patreon for our Patreon family, YouTube members and Patreon champions. We pull up the statistics on Tommy Morstead, and he's having his worst year statistically right now. I mean, Tommy Morstead in his career has never punted below 43 to 44 yards per game. He's like 5 or 36 or something like. It's 39 or something. It's like below. I know it's south of 40 though. You know, and Tommy Morstead, if you watch him, he's been looking really trifling lately. Like y'all seen that shank punt he had. When the last, and we know every now and again you can give the guy an opportunity to do that. But boy, his Tommy Morstead in the return team period, man, has looked absolutely shitty. And it's one of the reasons that Deontay Harris is hurt. He hadn't been able to open up a running lane to find. He trying to get something, but he's being tackled by 3 to 4. And one time I seen 5 goddamn people tackle him on special team. How is that possible? How more than 2 guys or 3 guys tackle you on a kick return or a punt return unless you got a bunch of sorry asses out there who not blocking? The special team need to step the hell up, man. Seriously. The kick return and the punt return aspect of special team, step y'all asses up because y'all look pathetic out there. Deontay Harris was trying to create stuff and he can't get nothing going because there's no blocking. There is no lanes. They're not creating lanes for him to run. And he don't need great big gaping truck-sized lanes. He just needs a slither of light to find. But they're not even providing that on special teams, and that is absolutely horrible. And Thomas Morstead's punting, really, he looks, and I can see why the Saints brought in Blake Gillikin. Because I'm telling you guys, Morstead is what? He got 2 years left on his contract. He's 34 years of age. He's been here since 2009. You know, and he is, man, the last couple of games, he been looking like an absolute goddamn joke. And so has that kick return and that punt return game. They stink, man. And how do you regress? At first, they were looking good. They got to get that together because you guys look absolutely terrible out there. And Deontay Harris is hurt because of that, because he getting tackled by 2, 3, 4, and 5 goddamn guys on the punt return and kick return game. Come on, man. I mean, get y'all heads in this thing, man. Open up some lanes. I don't know. Dan Rizzi is one of the top special teams coaches in the NFL. He gonna have to find some players, man, because those guys aren't cutting the mustard. They're not blocking correctly. They're not opening up lanes for the kick return and the punt returners to run. You know, they're not. And that's just, man. Listen, this got to get better here. Y'all got to clean this up, man. Y'all got to clean that up, especially Thomas Morstead. Well, I love Thomas Morstead. I think he's the first ballot Hall of Fame punter. But Tommy, man, listen. Drew Brees, the people sit up here talking about Drew at 41 years of age being over the hill. And you look at our 34-year-old punter making $4 million a year. And then there's Blake Gillikin here now. And they started the year off with 2 punters. And people like, what is up with that? I said, and I told people at the onset when they brought Blake Gillikin on here that was a sign that they was about to get rid of Tommy Morstead. But Tommy Morstead's elite punting ability kept him away from. But the Saints are not going to pay Tommy Morstead more than $4 million after the season. Kiss him goodbye. I'm telling y'all. I ain't gonna say a reduction, but they took half of his. They gave him his signing bonus up front so he could take a portion of it. Well, not signing bonus. They cut portion or chopped the scissored half of his agreement and paid him up front with the money several seasons ago to open up the salary cap. But ain't nowhere in the world you're going to keep a $4 million punter at 34 years of age. That's all wrong. Especially you talking about a guy as slick as Mickey Loomis. Mickey Loomis is so slick, and people saying, oh, Kamara got paid, man. He did get paid, but Kamara, they got to opt out after the 4th year of the Kamara deal. Did y'all know that? There's a Saints opt out. They can opt out of the deal after the 4th year. And if they do that, all they would have paid Kamara was $10 million, just over $10 million a season. So he'd had $10 million a season, just over $40 million, $10 million a season, and Mickey Loomis didn't even give him all of his signing bonus money up front. He didn't get the $15 million up front. Mickey gave him $3 million cut up in 5 pieces. I'm telling you, Mickey Loomis, He got Kamara on a $40 million deal over the next 4 years with an opt-out after the 4th year. Mickey Mouse Loomis is the man when they come down with them contracts. Mickey must be writing them contracts with Merlin Magician's wand or something. I mean, that's what's going on. Mickey is awesome, man. Let me tell you what. All right, but yeah, that's true, Kevin. Man, let's spotlight the Saints special teams, man. I don't know if y'all been paying attention to that. Been paying attention to how Tommy Morstead been, but I pay attention to every aspect of the team. Every aspect. On the field, up in the buildings, all that. I pay to every, and I noticed Morstead been stinking lately. I've noticed that the kick return, punt returners have been stinking lately. Deontay Harris being tackled by 2, 3, 4, and 5 fucking guys. I mean, come on, man. Seriously. And look, and now he hurt. Now he's hurt. And now we got to turn to Tommy Lee Lewis, who's famous for running into his blockers' backs at full speed. He got speed, but he has no vision. We got him back, though. I mean, it's amazing. All right, let's keep it going, man. I'm going to finish out the chat here. Demetrius Simpson, who that to you, fam? Good to see you in the chat as well. Smokeless, what's good to you, fam? Lance Baptiste, who that to you? Good to see you as well, brother. He says the Bucks ain't playing nobody. Trail says, don't worry, Q. They got to worry about our attack. And AK also. No, I'm not worried, bro. But Keenan Allen is a dude you have to keep your eye out on. The Saints run the ball. I say we should be all right. We should be all right, bro. The Saints run the ball. But if they go in there trying to throw at the team and not bring and being unbalanced, it's going to make a lot. Like you'll lose to them like you lost to the Raiders. And you wasn't supposed to lose to the Raiders. You lost to the Raiders because you were stubborn. You didn't want to run. You didn't want to stick to the run. But I have no doubt the Saints beat the Chargers, man. No doubt about that if you bring the running game. But I expect the Saints offense to look a hell of a lot better than they did over this past month. Because this is when they're supposed to have synced in. We had 4 months. We had 4 weeks of Saints football. Now, week 5, we should see the regular season offense in full view. So we'll see. Rap said, Q, have you noticed the 2 free agent rushers that we're hoping to get, Griffin and Clowney, haven't been doing well in their new homes? Yeah, that's true. Even though Griffin has done a little bit better than Clowney has. But you're right. Dallas, and of course, Mike Nolan over Dallas defense hasn't looked good. A lot of injuries. They're trying to get rid of Mike Nolan. If they fire Mike Nolan, let's get him back here as our linebackers coach. Well, we can't. We got Hodges there, but let's bring him in as a special assistant. Let's get Mike back here. If they get rid of him in Dallas, they ain't know what they was doing anyway. But then, and then Jadeveon Clowney, man, I mean, $15 million. I would have really taken Everson Griffin. I think he fits better. But you're right. They haven't looked that good. All right. Kai, who that to you? Kai the Great, who that to your family? Good to see you in the chat as well. Big ups to you. Phoebe, who that? Phoebe says Bucks beating the Bears against really good defense. Sascott says Titans whole team missing 21 players. Yeah, that and then somebody else got tested. They're getting tore up right now, man. They're getting tore up. Nola Ball says, trying to squeeze every drop before they make a move, LOL. Trell says Justin Herbert can't handle pressure. He throws the ball to the DBs. He has poor throwaway decisive decisions. Thank you, Trell. Kai says, Kai the Great says, so that's the main reason the Saints brought Tommy Lee was how bad is Deontay's injury? Dealing with a hamstring injury, bro, and they DMP'd him today. He'll be probably DMP'd tomorrow. You probably won't see him until after the bye week is over with, but there it is. But why bring Tommy Lee Lewis here? You got Marquez Callaway. Callaway is the kick returner, punt returner. And then there's Taysom Hill. So why add Tommy Lee Lewis to the active roster? And then you got guys that can return kicks on the practice squad. So I mean, it's just like more of the same, man. More of the same, just questionable moves. You really didn't need to bring Tommy Lee in here. You really didn't. But I want to see what these young guys could do. All right, let's keep it going here. Kevin says, sidebar, I love Kamara Q. Check out the Detroit game, that rush TD. We had scored 14. He slapped the what out of number 91. Real smooth, like check the film. All right, I'm going to check that out, bro. I hadn't noticed that. Lance said that boy, Mickey a beast, bro. I know, bro. He got him for $10 million. Well, he snuck in an opt-out there after the 4th year. But the 5th year is actually, it's not that bad. But every year, none of the years go over double digits until you reaches the final year of the agreement, which then jumps to $22 million. So we know they're not going to be playing. Kamara will be here for the next 4 years unless they rework the contract or agreement or whatnot. which is the space. The window is, and get used to it, the window is 4 years. The window for Kamara is 4 years. Mike Thomas's window is 4 years. Peyton's window is 4 years. Cam Jordan's year. Notice that. The guys is 3 to 4 years. DeMario's contract is 3 years. So they're fitting these pieces in for a 4-year window and try to get as many Super Bowls as you possibly can. Drew signed on for 4 years. 2 of them are playable years. Only way he sticks and stays is if when the Saints win the Super Bowl, you come back and defend it. My thought process is, but we get back on. We keep winning games. Just balance ourselves. We'll be fine. Injuries on defense is a bit concerning, but I think we can get over that if we can get the pass rush up. If we can get some more pressure on these quarterbacks, and I think we just need one game. Just rattle up this young guy for this one game. We go into the bye week and we get the majority of the starters on defense back. We get the Lattimores back. If Jenkins can't go, we get him back. After that, we get Davenport back. We get a bunch of people back. After the bye week, it'll be a fresh game against the Carolina Panthers. So we just have to handle business against a rookie-led Charger club. And if they, let's say Tyrod Taylor, who's limited, if they decide that Tyrod Taylor is healthy and they want to play him, they're going to play Tyrod Taylor, which is still good news because if the Saints sack him one time, they're going to knock him out because the guy playing with shattered ribs. I don't know what a guy with too much what a guy with shattered ribs can do. If I'm like, partner, look, man, go sit your ass down somewhere, bro. Seriously, man. You can't, if them guys hit you, don't you know how, dangerous that is? You playing football with broken ribs? It's just somebody got to tell him, man. I don't know what kind of culture he in or what kind of world he living in, but you shouldn't do that, bro. Seriously. Phoebe says that if the Saints let the Buccaneers win the division, boy, that's going to be a pain. The cold part about it is, if the Buccaneers win the division, I'm not even tripping on that. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I would want them to win the division, but what's more important to me is the Saints getting into the playoffs. Now, if they don't win the division and they get in the playoffs, I'm cool. I don't care about that division stuff. I only care about Super Bowls. If we can get, if we get in the playoffs, you're like, well, Q, that gives you a home field advantage. As you can look at, home field advantage don't mean nothing to the Saints. It ain't mean nothing to the Saints last year when they had it's over almost 80,000 screaming people in the dome. It didn't mean nothing enough to promote the Saints to put on a better performance than what they did last year. So that's all out the window. I don't care about that no more. I don't care about no more excuses about we need home field advantage throughout the playoffs because the Saints didn't even seize the opportunity they had last year to win that game against Minnesota in the dome. You was given an alley-oop and you couldn't even flush it. So the reality is, if you win a division or not, I don't care about the NFC South crowns. I really don't. They mean nothing. They're a slap in our faces because we're supposed to be playing for Super Bowls, not NFC South crowns. So as far as I'm concerned, as long as they get in the playoffs and take care of position, condition, take care of the ball, do what they're supposed to do, and keep winning games, that's what my mentality is, getting into the playoffs and having a long, deep playoff run into the Super Bowl. Now, if they, if the Saints fire up and they can be able to get that number 1 seed, y'all know the playoff format has changed. It's no more, you have to be the outright number 1 ranked team to get a bye week. They changed the format of the playoffs. I'm pretty sure you guys know that. Some of y'all might have not remembered that. But be mindful that they changed the format of the playoffs, meaning that only the number 1 seeded teams get bye weeks now. Everybody else has got to play. So whether that's in an empty dome, and who knows what we're going to look like later on in the year, it might still be dome. This lady down here keeping the dome padlocked until she get that money from the state. She ain't open up no guy. I told y'all that. She ain't opening up nothing until she get the money from the state. The state saying, we ain't give you. They won't turn the money loose. And they saying, give us the money, give us the money. They're not going to turn the money loose. So as long as they turn the money loose, no games. And I told y'all that's how it go. She waiting on that money. So let me tell you, man, it's just a bunch of foolishness. All right. Let's keep it rolling here. Thank you for that, Phoebe. Big up C. Tyra says Sean Payton took his eyes off the prize when he allowed Breeze, the troll, to keep up with Peyton and forgot about the division. Yeah, that's what the division, like I said, I'm not really concerned. I understand what y'all saying. But, man, listen, we did everything we were supposed to do last year to get 13-3, and then you go and lose in the playoffs. Did you know what that did to my mentality? The last couple of years you've been 13-3, and you've exited the playoffs in precarious situations because if you watch the games, literally go and put the full games on if you get time, watch the entire game, family. Watch the entire game. And then you guys will see, like I see, that the Saints made a lot of mistakes in these games. I mean, there were blown assignments on blocking. There were dropped passes. There were false starts in their own home, in their buildings. False starts, Saints linemen jumping offside. Defense, there were pass interference and calls made that were justified, some that weren't. There were dropped touchdown passes in the playoffs. I mean, any stupid, garbage, bull crap, craptastic ass play that you shouldn't as a professional football team that get to the playoffs should be doing in the playoffs. The most disciplined teams win. The ones that don't commit the turnovers. The ones that don't have the dumbass penalties. The ones that when the opportunity come, they make the catch to extend the drive. How many times in the playoffs the last 3 years you've seen Saints wide receivers drop third down passes that if were caught would have given them a new set of downs? How many times during the last 3 years of playoff football did you see the Saints get stopped on 3rd and 1s or 4th and 1s, when if they had converted the 3rd and 1 or the 4th and 1, would have gave them a new set of drive, a new set of downs, and would have extended the drive and 8 more clock? How many times did you see that? I've seen it constantly. You go back and watch these playoff games, you see the Saints play mistake-riddled football, and it's a disrespect because you can see they have the discipline in the regular season to do it, but something happened in the playoffs where they get in there and they don't respect the atmosphere where it is. And last year, I said this, the Saints were smoking their own dope last year. They had to. How do you get 13-3, get a shot at the team that humiliate you 2 years prior? You have an opportunity to knock this team out of the playoffs, and you go in there and literally don't communicate, fussing at each other on the sideline, don't have a balanced attack. The offensive line can't stop anybody. They're allowing people to sack the quarterback. They're not even run protecting. You know what I'm saying? The defense can't get a pass rush. They missing tackles, taking poor angles. I mean, every and anything you possibly can imagine. So I'm like, how do you were smoking your own dope to believe that we the man, and then they came in there and embarrassed you. So like I said, you know what? You don't need home field advantage. You don't need home field advantage no more. You ain't do right when you had it. So I mean, the thing is, maybe you should play on the road so you can keep your antennas up. You know? Maybe you need to go on the road so you can play with some ferocity and have some focus. Maybe that's what you need to do. Maybe you need to go on the road because you too relaxed at home. You laddie daddy at home. The Saints was laddie daddy like a dog last year in the Superdome, all laid back like they all was drinking Prozac shakes, including the head coach. I never seen a coach so even-keeled or so laid back when the game was over with and his team was marched out the playoffs after 13-3 year. Peyton was so smooth and unaffected by it that he took the job to go and be a commentator the next week for the 49ers and the team he lost to, the Minnesota Vikings. He flew out out there to San Francisco to commentate for the team. That's how smooth and non-affected he was about it. So, like I said, none of that. If they got to go on the road, let them take their ass on the road. Because you couldn't take advantage of a dome full of people screaming and yelling for you, and you literally embarrassed them. And I have people from Minnesota still to this day hounding me about that bullshit. You know? And I'm like, if I'm going to take this, I might as well get a check from you dogs. If I'm going to take this, if I'm going to have people, Minnesota people, sending scold comments every damn well, I got top like, man, I had to take it. You know, they went and this fool taking his stinking sagged your ass out there to San Francisco to commentate. Man, listen here, man. I'm upset about it. I'm still upset about it because it was all fraudulent and it was totally disrespectful how they handled that loss and what Sean Payton did. That was I'm still up. That's why I be hitting him so hard, because what he did was totally out of bounds. You had no right to go up there and do that. That was totally disrespectful for the entire Saints fan base. And the fan base, a lot of them didn't even know he did that. I have to keep telling, man, did y'all know he did it? Like, yeah, that's right, Q, he did that. People like, he did that, Q? I ain't know that. Yes, he did that. The week after losing 13-3 in the playoffs, he went out there to commentate for the team he just was beat by. And I'm not supposed to see some conflict of interest in that? So, yeah, I'm upset about that. That's why I got my eyes on him firmly and calling his ass out heavy-handed this year. I'm not playing with Sean Payton with this bullshit this year. And so I don't care about NFC South crowns. Let's get that understood. I don't care about NFC South crowns. What I care about is Super Bowl trophies. And if we get an NFC South crown on the way to the Super Bowl, fine. If we don't, fine. As long as we in the playoffs and we plan for something and we got an opportunity to play, that's what I care about. Making the playoffs. With a crown or not, them crowns don't mean, them NFC South crowns don't mean nothing. You can wipe your backside with them. They don't mean nothing. They don't. All they are is a constant reminder of the failure that you had over the last 3 years that you've dominated the NFC South. And then they ask you, okay, you won it 3 years in a row. Then anytime it come with a Super Bowl ring, no, the referees cheaters. And that's when you hear people start talking about the referees cheating us. And I'm like, man, y'all ain't watching the footage, man. The referees, they ain't make the calls, but it wasn't on the refs. It was on you. You dropped touchdown passes. You was up in there involved in holding calls and missing tackles and bad play calling and milquetoast conservative play calling. Come on, man. Jermaine says, Q, he did. Tommy Lee Lewis runs into the back. He's fast, but he has no vision. Family, I know these people. I've been covering them for years. He's fast, but he doesn't have any vision. He runs into the backside of his blockers full speed. Constantly, look at the film. Oh my goodness, good Lord, man, damn. Oh my goodness. Hemisphere, who that? He said preseason over, Big Q. Preseason, yeah, it's over, bro. Just last game of preseason was last week. It's regular season now, bro. It's regular season now, because that was some preseason ass football we watched over the last 4 weeks, no doubt about it. Thank you, Hemisphere. Mark 504 said, I think we're in good condition right now. People we need to practice is practicing. After the bye week, we're fully healthy. I agree with that, bro. We all right in that regard. Kevin says Mickey signing these contracts like he work at Mickey doing his thing, bro. He got Kamara for just over $10 million, 40 million deal, 4 years, just over $10 million with an opt out after the 4th year. Pretty smooth, Mickey. Pretty smooth. And then he made him, and then he agreed to have him. He could have got 15 up front, but he made him chop it up into 5 installments of $3 million, like it's the lottery or some damn thing. Mickey Loomis, I'm not negotiating. If I sign with I ain't negotiating with Mickey Loomis, man. Mickey's shrewd. All right, let's keep it going. Kevin says, all right, thank Kevin. Kevin Conley says Everson Griffin not looking too good either over there in Cowgirl defense. He got like a sack. I think he got like a sack or something. He doing more than what Jadeveon Clowney doing, even though his team stopped by that virus. Demi says Bucks have a good pass rush. Nick don't have time to do nothing, but the Bears have a weak O-line. Lance said, I don't want Drew for another year. Now Lance said, you don't want him. Cheetah Turner says, please no Drew next year. Well, we'll see, family. And if you win a Super Bowl, how you going to stop him? If you bring the Saints running attack, and I think Drew is unfair because Drew is not doing a bad job. He's not. Family, listen, the statistics, hold on. The statistics of Drew Brees, because and I might show this to the fam, say, Q, I don't give a rat's ass about the statistics. It's I want him gone. Well, I can't, if you that hell bent on wanting the man, it's nothing I can tell you that's going to sway your mind to move in any direction other than getting them out the door. But at least if we want them out the door, let's at least have a reason for wanting to get them out the door. If you take a look at Drew Brees' statistics through the year so far, they're actually pretty good. I'm going to be honest with you. And the problem is not with Drew Brees. I'm telling you, it was the fact that the Saints weren't running the ball and they were going 3 and out. And he can't throw in deep downfield because that's what the coverage is. He couldn't throw into the coverage. Now, he fitted into some tight windows against Las Vegas. He did it a few times with the Packers, but you're risking interceptions when that happens. But Drew Brees' numbers right now through the season, Drew Brees' numbers, 92 out of 129. That's 71% completion percentage. He has 1,006 yards. He averaging 8 yards a throw through the season. He's averaging 251 yards per game. 251. He has 8 touchdowns and 2 sacks, and he has a QBR of 78.4. That's not a bad statistical line if you're a quarterback in the NFL. The 1,006 yards, that's 15th in NFL, top 15 in NFL. He's tied for 7th in NFL with touchdowns with 8th. He has only 2 interceptions on the season. and his QBR is just under 80%, which is good for 5th in the NFL. He's 41 years old with those statistics. I mean, that's a good statistical line. Y'all have to admit that.
Drew looks like the same player that he has for the past.
Hold on, fam. Let me cut that off. But that's the reality of what I'm saying at the end of the day, is that Drew Brees is not the issue with the Saints team.
Couple years.
He's
I
not.
said this last week. They scored 24 last week, and they scored 27.
All right, let's cut him off here. That's Orvlarski. All right, let's keep it going here, family. Donald, I'm gonna exhaust the chat, family. Then that'll be into the show, and I'll come back tomorrow with the preview show. We'll open up the phone lines. I'll be a little early. Tonight's the last night that we doing this extra work that be working on, and we just about done. We got a few things we got left to do, and it'll be over with for the rest of the week. So just to let the family members know, tomorrow on Friday's show, which is the Saints and the Chargers preview, we'll open it up. The show will fire it up at, I say, about 5 o'clock. That'll give us plenty of time to do the preview and then open up the phone lines, get the family members conversation. Because remember, Saturday there is no sports coma, and then Sundays there's no sports coma because the game is Monday. So you'll be two days without the sports coma. So we'll open up the live lines on Friday, and we'll take calls after we break out, do the preview, and get your call on it. And of course, TSC virtual tailgate will be Monday, 2 hours before the actual game and 2 hours after the game. And then usually Monday, then Tuesday, usually it's TSC Q&A live. Then usually I don't know, we'll see how it shakes. Usually Monday kind of throws off our stuff a bit, but we'll keep it moving. But just to let you know, I'm going to exhaust the chat and then we'll end the show. All right, big ups to DLP. What up, DLP? Good to see you in the chat. Crass says, Adlin says, Herbert is the starter for Maryland. Okay, I didn't know that. Thank you, Crass. Appreciate that, bro. DLP 2600 says, who that? Clowney has 5 tackles, 0 sacks, and 3 games for $15 million. Yeah, I think it said the Saints are better off. But, bro, listen. I mean, that's, with them. But that's tough to say. And listen, he ain't done diddly squat out there. You're absolutely right. But would that have been the case if he was in New Orleans? Would he have the same statistical line as he is in New Orleans and he's playing opposite of Cam Jordan? You know what I'm saying? I think that our defensive line is better than their defensive line. And I know they spent money on who they got, Vic Beasley, who I think Beasley's out there. And they had him, and they got, I think, Jarrell Casey or whatever. Interiorly, they're pretty good, but they can't. Very few teams can hold a candle to the Saints defensive line. But I still say Clowney in Tennessee or even in Seattle looks different than what he would do in New Orleans. I'm just keeping it real. In New Orleans, a lot of times he would be single block. He would be single block in New Orleans. I would say that after 4 games, if he's healthy, Jadeveon Clowney would have at least a sack. I mean, at least a sack. Come on now. Trey Hendrickson has 3 of the freaking things. You don't think Clowney could do what Trey Hendrickson could do? And Hendrickson been playing well, but he's benefiting from the fact that they doubling Cam. So you don't think Clowney would be able to benefit? That's a question for the chat. I say he would have had, if Trey Hendrickson had 3, actually it's 4 because they took 1 away from Trey Hendrickson. When he sacked Carr, they took that for whatever reason. They didn't give him that sack, but he should have 4 sacks. But the guy has 4 sacks for the Saints, opposite of Cam Jordan, who just got his first one because he been doubled. You don't think Clowney would have been able to get 2 or 3 sacks? Just like Trey Hendrickson has. Just saying, think about it. Just think about it. At least a sack. At least a sack, because Cam is taking all of the weight. He's being doubled, and that's how Trey Hendrickson is thriving. They thinking they can single block him, and he's beating his stuff. So I posed that to the chat. Would Jadeveon Clowney, would he look the same in Tennessee as he do on the Saints defensive line with all the smoke the Saints defensive line has? I say yes, he looks different. I really do. I think he looks a lot different with the Saints than he do with the Titans. That's just me though. Y'all chime in, let me know what y'all think on that. Lance says Mickey and Sean need to holler at them and see what they're using to shoot Taylor up with. Yeah, I know, bro. They got that good stuff. They got that good stuff in Cali. Crass says Saints are in everything. Eldon Smith balling, but his team is 1-3. Miguel says I want the division though. Miguel says I want the division. Q, come on, I gotta have it. I got you, Miguel. I feel you, baby. Crash says D-Mail got the padlock through the key in the Mississippi River. She said, listen, I'm going to hold this building hostage until y'all cut that CARE money loose. I told y'all that's what it is. Remember when I put them receipts on camera? Remember I showed y'all the receipts, even highlighted the article? What she said, why she waiting for the CARE money? They don't have the money to pay the staff to work the games. So it's not about, it's not a safety issue, but that's the problem with the people that's reporting the story. They're not going to pinpoint that. They'll put it, bury it, but what you call it, lie by omission. They won't bring out and say this is the thing, but I will point it out because that's the truth. Even the truth is buried in the article, and the story should be named after that. It should be about that. It should be about that. It should be about that. The fact that she keeping the dome closed because they don't have the money to pay the people to work. I showed you that. I put the receipts on screen. So it ain't got nothing to do with people's safety and all this kind of stuff. It ain't got nothing to do with that. They want the CARE money, 100% of it, to the city from the governor. He hadn't released that yet. He hadn't released that yet. And until you do, the dome stay closed. That's what she said. The dome stay closed. And people not calling out on it. Said, listen, they're not calling them out on it. And you got to call these politicians out. You cannot let them sit there and be comfortable like that. Because when they're not, don't let them sit there, challenge these people. You know, at least ask them questions, challenge them. We have a placating ass society. You know what I'm saying, family? We got a placating ass society where you got people out, fake fraudulent people. You can't, they try to screen your questions. They don't want to be caught off guard. I'm like, man, what kind of placating garbage is this? That tax money not come for you. I guarantee you, you're not paying for where you live at. That's how it's set up. You know, it's a set. Like, man, I'm going to say this and I'm going to go back to my Saint talk. I'm going to work through the chat. But I often said about like the healthcare thing that they talk about. Oh, the healthcare. I said, man, listen, the healthcare thing is a good thing, but listen, what kind of healthcare is it? Real healthcare means it covers everything. I mean homeopathic care because I'm a big fan of homeopathic care. And I think that if you pay taxes and it come out your tax, it come out my check or whatever it do, and your check, it should encompass everything. Everything. Healthcare is healthcare. It ain't just the Rockefeller controlled dominated healthcare industry that was taken over in the late 1800s, early 1900s when he took it over and put the MDs on top of that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about everything. We talking about everything. All healthcare, homeopathic care, everything. I want to be able to take my card down to the homeopathic doctor and say, here you go, and pay for whatever I want. I want to be able to take my healthcare card down to your local supplement store and pick me up some supplements. That's healthcare. You know, that's what I want to do. And then the second thing is, I want what you got. I want it free like you got. I don't want no co-pays. I don't want co-pays, prepays, co-pays, afterpays. I don't want none of that. I want it like what you got. Which they said we can't do that because we pay for everything. But I go check they stuff. They don't pay for nothing. Good grief, man. I mean, where we at, man? I'm saying let this be the age of enlightenment, man. And that's all. I knew that because I've been did that research on that, man. I mean, so when you can't talk, when you know some stuff, they can't talk to you in a kind of way. They got to turn away and go away because you're going to end up breaking up the control narrative that they spent so long on it. But it's time for your narrative to go down because y'all lying to the people, and shame on you guys. And all y'all need to be exposed for that, for trying to manipulate the people into stuff that they don't know about, playing on their ignorance. You know, it just frustrates me, man, because the people are powerful, man. And we've been pulled down and messed with for far too long. And it's time for the people to take that back from these people, man. We pay for the roads, we pay for the lights, we pay for the utilities, we pay for nothing, and won't get one goddamn penny out of the thing. But people will sit up in their mind and say, Q, that's totally fine. How is that fine? Think about it. How is that fine? And people nowadays could use that money right now. Why is it such a sucker-ass system? Why is the fact that you check their books and Forbes and all of their money going up like that, your money going down like this? How they doing that? You ain't collecting the gate. You're not getting the concession. So how your money going up like that? Because that's your money. Money you supposed to get. They're giving it to them. Researching. I'm going to leave it alone. Last thing. Thank you, bro. That's right. And it's look it up. Who created it? Where it come from? It was taken over. And I've been saying these was in books written, man. There's a whole book written on, several of them written about how it happened and where it came from. How they had the radium, how he had how the super rich man had a surplus of radium that they used for the X-ray machines. All of that's how the X-ray machines came. All that, everything you want to know, use your smartphone. It's supposed to make you smart. Don't just use it to play games, but research. We're supposed to be the most intelligent people that ever existed. We have the world's knowledge from years and years at our fingertips. We're supposed to be the most smartest, intelligent beings that ever existed, because we can dial up at any time we want to know nothing. We pull up this goddamn thing and pull it up and point it in and be informed and empowered. I mean, come on. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to get off my spiel right here. DLP said deadline is about 1 month away. There will be teams. Thank you for that, Last Saint. Thank you, bro. DLP said trade deadline is about 1 month away. Will teams be trying to unload talent like 1 year? I expect the Saints to get fishing around to find more talent. I hope so, DLP. I don't feel as optimistic as you about that, my friend, but I hope you're right. Because from what I've been seeing, the Saints been just bottom bargain basement shopping, in my opinion. None of these guys that they're bringing on, the practice squad is not going to impact the team this year in a positive fashion. We need veterans or guys that can actually come in and work and help out some stuff. You know, all right, the rest of the state, no money, no honey. Right, that's what I put the receipts out there. Mark says Lattimore didn't want anyone to fuss with. Yeah, we had Lattimore on the show the other day, family. Brother Freddie talked to him. And he told Freddie, yeah, you can't talk. You can't hate on me, Brother Freddie. We had Lattimore on the show. I don't know if y'all seen it. Did y'all see the last show we did? Lattimore was on the show. Marshawn Lattimore came on the show. And he was talking to Brother Freddie. He told Freddie, and Freddie told him where he live at and told Freddie what kind of food he eat and why he was smart. He was on the show. Y'all go back and watch it. All right. Revolt. Who that? Revolt. What up, Revolt? Revolt says Prozac shakes. Oh, say, bro, you know I've been coming right out of here, bro. Well, I'll tell you what, this ain't no goddamn teleprompter. I'll tell you what, man. All this is coming right out of here. All right. Demi says, why should we have Peyton cared? He still got paid. Right, but we should care, though, Demi. We care. You know, they still got people still upset about that. And it's like they took their money and went home, and that show, and boy, was people pissed. I was one of the people pissed. I was just fortunate enough to have an outlet to be able to release some of my pissation. Hell, I'm still pissed, and I talk every day. And I'm still upset. How dare you take your stinking ass out there and do it? That's why I hit him hard, man. I don't want to hear nothing about no Sean Payton with this genius stuff, man. Cut that out. Sean Payton need to learn. He should learn to be better and smarter than that. You got a good team. Rely on the strengths of that team, man. And stop being such a jerk when it come down to answer a question. These reporters, man, y'all grow some backbones. Why don't you, please? Iceman says, damn, can you still go? I'm still going on, bro, because I'm passionate, man. That ain't go away. And I don't think that's going to go away, bro, until we get that playoff win. Until we get that deep playoff run. That's what you thinking. The regular season wins or whatever is not going to appease me. It's not going to appease a lot of people as passionate as we are. I'm just keeping it real with you. The only appeasement we'll get is when the Saints get in the playoffs and they have a deep playoff run, and then we get to the Super Bowl and we win. Then then a lot of the frustration over the last 3 years will go away. There is no amount of regular season wins that are going to appease that. If that is something that must be corrected in the playoffs, because the error was made in the playoffs. It wasn't made in the regular season. It was made in the playoffs. And we got a couple months before we see the rest of that play out. But the Saints need to take care of business, man. We got to get sweet about Super Bowls. And I know the family said, Q, I want them AFC South titles too. And it would be sweet just to get it off of Sean Payton, get it away from the Tom Brady, and for the Saints to go 4 years in a row. But what if we go 4 years in a row, NFC South stopped in the playoffs again? What good is it? Then you have a real problem then. Because there is no idea. I didn't even fixate on that. My idea and my call on the season, the Saints get to the Super Bowl, Drew Brees comes back to defend the crown. That's always been my stance. And if you don't get it done this year, then I don't know if you get it done in the recent thing. Because the reality is, if the Saints, because listen, I'm not even gonna go there. No, I'm gonna go there. We just gotta handle business, man. All right, DLP said, I understand that, bro, but in case he would have been brought in, so I don't agree with you on that. He said Elster wasn't balling last game. He was lost. It was ran by over. Come on now. All right, DLP, thank you, bro. Appreciate you. Jermaine, who that to you as well. Phobia says, I think the Saints should go get Aaron Rodgers next year. He's going to be a free agent. Y'all think the Packers got that first round pick quarterback for nothing. That's right, Phobia. And that is also a thing the Saints could look at. And I'm going to tell you something. Just like Tom Brady was looking at the Saints, Aaron Rodgers will do the same thing. So imagine if you have Aaron Rodgers running your offense with Elvin Kamara back there, Mike Thomas running around there. You still going to have Emmanuel Sanders for another year. Still going to have Taysom Hill for another year. Still going to have many parts of that offensive line for another year. So Aaron Rodgers would be the perfect addition if Drew Brees says not to come back. But I say if the Saints win the Super Bowl, Drew Brees is not going to then retire and let Aaron Rodgers come down here and get another Super Bowl. It's not going to happen. It's a pride factor. If he, when he wins, he's going to try to defend that thing. That's just what it is. But like I said, people tired of Drew Brees. I don't see why. Drew Brees hasn't done anything that deserves him. He's 41 years old, but he's playing some good football. He has 8 touchdowns, over 1,000 yards. He's playing good. He only 2 picks. One of the picks wasn't his fault. But the guy batted the ball up at the line of scrimmage. The defensive back came down with it. So in essence, he has 1 interception versus 8 touchdowns at 80% passing rate, QB rate. And that's pretty good for a 41-year-old ass quarterback. So that's showing you his numbers look good. That's not on Drew. That's on the rest of the team. That's on the running game not being used enough. That's on the defense being on the field too much and giving up plays. That's not totally on Drew Brees. That's all I'm saying. I understand y'all saying y'all want him out of there. Thank you, Crass, for that. Appreciate you, bro. Revolt says, who that? All right. Demis says, Q, Sean may have been brought. Well, that's a possibility, Demi. You smart on that one. Iceman says the phone line's open. No, not tonight, Iceman. No. JT says, Q, when you at home, as good as we are, games shouldn't be that close. That is true. If you bring the running attack in there, and I'm telling you, there is no team in the NFL, and I keep saying this, family, there is no team in the NFL that can beat the Saints once they have the running and the passing attack going. Nobody. There is no team stopping the Saints when their play action is going. You cannot stop us, especially if you move Kamara around and create mismatches with their defense and then hammer them with Latavius Murray. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. You notice most of these offenses are using 3 to 4 wide receiver sets to pull the Saints out of their nickel package and into their dime package, which is a weaker package. So that's why I was saying the Saints would have went out and got some more veteran help to beef up the dime package. Have y'all noticed that opposing teams are going to 4 wide receiver sets, or what they're doing is they're going to 4 wide receiver sets, or they'll situate the running back at the line of scrimmage and create a package where you have 4 receivers on the line of scrimmage, will force the Saints to operate and use the dime look. The dime look is not our strong suit. That is not our strong suit defense. My favorite defense is the 4-3. I love it a lot. The nickel package the Saints are good at, but the dime package, not so much. And notice a lot of teams are pulling the Saints out of the not modified nickel. Have y'all noticed that? I know y'all have. If I did, I know y'all have. So JT says, yeah, that's true, JT. Thank you for that. Lance says that boy Tommy be running with eyes closed. Tommy Lee, we're going to see, bro. DLP says Darius Slay may be up for grabs. Eagles may be unloading. LOL. Do the Saints take a move on that contract? He got a nice contract they signed that kid, wasn't it? Crash says Mario Edwards was MIA for New Orleans, but he all over Brady with his new team. Yeah, I see Mario Edwards playing up there. That's what happened when most of the guys leave up there and they go like that. Akeem Hicks is up there and he doing his thing. But yeah, as soon as the Saints put Mario Edwards in the street, Chicago called him. Iceman said he's got the reporters in his pockets. Q. Phobia says, you're right, the division don't mean nothing at all. It's about making the playoffs and winning it all. Thank you, Phobia. Crash says, Kevin, I'm going to say no. Coach Nielsen has been very good in New Orleans. Ramsey says, what do you think about the Saints playing 3 home games in UL Lafayette Stadium until Cantrell opens up the dome? I said go for it. I say yes. But I love that idea. But yeah, in ULF still, I love that idea because the region could use that money. My understanding is that the mayor would let people attend the games whatever the stadium capacity is. Why not? What's the stadium capacity for UL Lafayette Stadium up there, Ramsey? I think it's a winner. I read that article somewhere when they made it. I was like, I love that idea because Contrell playing hardball. She don't want to open up the stadium. Let that local economy dealing with the hurricane and then another hurricane on the way. After all that's being said, done after that, we'll see, because I don't know, bro. We'll see. That hurricane coming, so I don't know. But if everything is fine outside of that, I wouldn't be upset if she keep holding the dome. But this going to go into the deep season. Like, really? You said the first 2 games, like, okay, yeah, we can see you closing it. But now that everybody's incrementally opening up everything because they need we can't longer stay cramped down. We just have to, do your hand washing, wear your mask, stay apart, whatever you feel comfortable with doing. If that's what you feel like doing, they got some people that say, I'm not wearing that. I'm not putting that on. I don't believe in that. And that's fine too. If that's how you rock. And I'm pretty sure you got supplements or whatever. You got to. But the thing is, if you go out there and you keep your hands and you do what you got to do and you follow the stuff, you should be fine. Go ahead on out there and be safe, be careful. That's all you can do. What's the meaning after that? After the fact, where everybody opening up and trying to get back to business, you can't keep it, the situation suffocated like that, because what you end up doing, you're destroying your own city. You're not allowing revenue to flow, and it's the revenue that helps keep everything going. If you don't do that, then you're going to suffocate the businesses and shut them down. You're going to destroy your city like that. And then you're going to blame it on that other man sitting over there. And it was you that did it. If you have it open, it big on people, make the people say they're going to do this, they're going to do that, then open it up. But the real reason is they mismanage the money and they don't have the money to pay for the people in the building. That's why they say, okay, you want us to play? We'll open it up, but send that care money down here. We need all of it. Then we could be able to pay for the people to be in the building. What happened to the money that you had? They sent it somewhere else. They misappropriated it. So that's what I'm saying. It's politics as usual, man, hitting under a veneer that is supposed to be health related. But man, come on, man. Y'all know better than that, man. Y'all know better than that. Y'all see the world. Don't see the world in the lens that they say you're supposed to see in it. See it what it is. That's how they have an advantage over the people. Because the people have almost like a child-minded adolescent view of the world. And they looking at it as adults and senior citizens. We can't have a Nickelodeon vantage view of the world. It's not that creates a mismanaged, because when you have children that have a Nickelodeon vantage point of the world, then they go out into the world, they get crushed by the world. We have to see it as it is, and then once we see it as it is, we can change it the way we want to change it, meaning for the benefit of the people. And it should be for the benefit of the people and nobody else. Shouldn't it benefit the politician? You don't need nothing. You don't need nothing. Come on, man. It's all about the people. The greatest investors in it is the people. So the people should be the best or the greatest reapers of the success of society, because we're the greatest investors in it. How we invest all this and you don't get nothing but pain, and all this stuff going up like this every year. Straight up. It don't never come down. It don't never come down. It always go up. It's always go up, constantly, all the way up. No, you supposed to get the greatness of society because you're the biggest investors. You're not supposed to get diddly squat. Like I'm saying, we supposed to get money out the dome. And that should be something we can bring. Maybe we can come together as a fan base and make that proposal and say, listen, we pay for this, we pay for that. We need this to happen, or a reduction of this. If we're doing this and we're doing that, then you need to reduce this, that, and the third. You can't have this and that and this and that, and then we get nothing but this is your saints. No, we got to be able to have the mind, and everybody got to wake up to that concept. You got to be one in mind for everybody to see that. And I'm telling you, if everybody do it, you guys, everybody can get something from it because you put into it. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it alone. Let me keep going here. I'm going to leave it alone. All right, let's keep it going here. All right, Mr. Brown says, man, these people helping Tom Brady. Iceman, he's got the reporters in his pockets. Q, thank you for that. Once again, thank you, Phoebe. I appreciate your comment. Big ups to you. Richmo said, hey, Q, one thing the brothers, he says, that bothers me about Breeze this year. Usually he puts his receivers in better positions not to get hit immediately or whatever. Thoughts? That's true, bro. I did see him throw the ball quite precariously that put Traquan Smith in a dangerous position. I seen him do that with Jared Cook. That Jared Cook got a nice little smack from it. I think I seen a couple of times with Emmanuel Sanders. So yeah, and I think he'll get Drew's he'll get better as the season. Like I said, the first 4 weeks was like preseason. They didn't play preseason, and you've seen a lot of mistake football, a lot of pass interference, a lot of mismanagement of timeouts, and it's just sloppy football. But after that month over which, you should see a more professional, crisper version of Drew Brees and the Saints offense and the entire team for that matter. One would hope. If they're still struggling in week 5, something's wrong here. You don't supposed to be struggling. Speaking's professional over the last several seasons with the Saints. If they're struggling in week 5 to put up points, something's wrong here. Something wrong. So I expect them to put up 30-something points in this game for real. I really do. I think the Saints should put up 30 points. They should sack that young quarterback 5 times in this game. We should have either a pick, at least one interception on him, maybe 2. But we should have over 120-something yards worth of rushing, 3 touchdowns. Drew Brees will have a couple of touchdowns in this matchup. He have about 260 yards worth of passing. Wouldn't be surprised if he get the 3. But we have 130-plus yards rushing between Kamara and Latavius Murray. 2 or 3 touchdowns from these guys. Emmanuel Sanders should have about 6 or 7 catches. Traquan Smith will have 4 or 5 catches. And hopefully we get that young tight end going. If Jared Cook, I will hold out Jared for another week. He looked like he was hurt before they said he was hurt, man. I'm telling you, he looked really bad, like slow and ancient in those first couple of games before they sidelined him. Thank you for the question, Rich Mo. Who that to you, bro? DLP said he's in the final year of his deal with Mickey Mouse Newman, saying it's on the table, LOL. Hold'em Hook TV says, did y'all see the forced fumble? It says why our safeties can't hit like that. Y'all looking at the game right now. I was trying to keep up with it, but going through the chat. Kyle Davis, what up, Kyle? You think you got the heat? What up, Kyle? Good to see you in the chat, bro. Hemisphere, I'm listening to you what you're saying about Peyton, but he calls plays better with juicy fruit. I've heard that so much, bro. He's got to be throwing his rhythm off there. Mark says he caught like a little boy. Holden Booker say, yeah, Kevin, nobody going to catch the ball over the middle now for the rest of the game. All right, J-Rock, what up, fam? Good to see you, J-Rock. Who that to you? All right, let's see. Jermaine says Graham caught a TD. DLP says it's hard to say. He's hyping and playmaking the catch. Iceman says, hey, hear what you're saying, Q, but look at what these young guys are doing at QB and look at how inconsistent our defense and coaching is, especially in the big games. That doesn't go well with our playoff history. That's true, bro, but still 1 month into the season, historically speaking, October and November play well for the Saints. So let's talk about it in another month where they are. And plus, they get real healthy after this bye week. So you will be 6 weeks, you'll be the 7th weekend, and you get Mike back almost at the halfway point of the season. You get Mike back, and you get the rest of these guys. Ty Montgomery, you'll be coming back to it. So it's interesting, bro. But, we'll have a full, clean, healthy Davenport will be back. So, things will look a lot different in the middle of the season. So I would estimate, the thing about the first 4 games, I would caution you to think about it, the preseason aspect that they just was trying to figure it out. And then, of course, my thing is, where is the long-term philosophy of Sean Payton in terms of, is he going to run the ball, stick to the run like he did against the Detroit Lions, or is this just a pass and fad where he'll go back to what he did against the Raiders and the Packers? Or, this is the thing. Did you learn your lesson? Or are you going to run the ball consistently? That's what it comes down to. Nola says Graham Bears, okay. All right, last say Bears putting up the smackdown on the Bucks. Let's see who else. Let me just keep on going down there. All right, JT said even our playoff games at home shouldn't be close. That's right, we shouldn't. But that's why I say maybe you need to be away from home and keep your focus, because the Saints have problems and issues with focus in the playoffs, whether they're home or away. We still mistake Riddle, and that's concerning, man. I'm not, and that's the reason, to be truthful, that Sean Payton them went after Emmanuel Sanders and Malcolm Jenkins. They wanted smart players on the offense and defense who have deep playoff runs, who have experience in the playoffs to cool down and bring more management or more of cooler head and more intellect on both sides of the football. Jenkins if he was with the Saints last year, do you think the Saints would have had those miscommunication issues? I wouldn't say the Saints would have been miscommunicating that bad in the playoffs if Malcolm Jenkins was had. That's one of the gifts that Malcolm has, his ability to make people see where they need to be and make sure they position correctly. So, he's still trying to work on Marcus Williams. Marcus Williams just lost. He just lost. But Emmanuel Sanders is another fantastic locker room presence for the Saints as well. That's why those guys were brought in. They need that intellect and that experience in the playoffs to help cool down if you got high-headedness or uncertainty in the locker room. And I applaud that. And we're going to need that coming to playoffs times. All right. Thank you. I appreciate that, bro. Iceman said, I'm not worried about Drew right now. I'm worried about Drew in like week 12 or 13. Will he still be operating at peak condition? Last 3 years, Drew declined real bad going into the playoffs. The overthrowing, bro. You can't overthrow. You have to run the ball. And that's why I said, unlike previous years, the Saints this year have to use the running game as the primary source of mode transportation of the ball. You have to transport the ball with the running attack more so than the passing attack because of your 41-year-old quarterback. That's why I thought the Saints had 3 active rosters on the depth chart for such a reason. To run the football, to focus on it. Ramsey says capacity is about 36.9. All right, well that's not bad. And I would be a favor that let's see what this Hurricane do, but most certainly, if she won't play games, the Saints should go out to Lafayette and play. It'll be a big, tremendous impact economically to an area that really need that impact. They, just keeping it real. That'll be her loss. DLP said Big Q 41. Okay, thank you for that, Cajun. Yeah, thank you, bro. Okay. DLP says, Delcom, what up, Delcom? He says, I agree. I can't see that as fans. Why not, All right, Demi says, thanks, Q. Good night, fam. Thank you, Demi. As well, and good night to you, baby. Chris Rook says, who that? Chris says, KC can have fans. We should. You got to talk to your mayor, bro. Crash says, Big Q, would you let Marcus Williams walk into? Yes, I would. That was easy, Crash. Hit me with another one of them easy ones, bro. I'll let him walk. I would let his ass walk today. If I was in control, I would let him walk today, and then I would go out and get another safety to come in and play. All you Swearinger there, But the Saints have kind of put themselves in. They released Saquon Hampton, who was a safety. They had a lot. They cut him. They don't have any prospects of young safeties besides Marcus Williams. So I don't know if they painting themselves into a corner. This is his last year on his contract. But Marcus Williams was a bad idea. And I would let Marcus Williams walk. Yes, I would. That's real easy. Thank you for that one, Crass. All right, Jordan. What up, Jordan? Who that? He said, appreciate all your primetime slots they're giving the Saints this year. Appreciate all the primetime. He said, I appreciate all the primetime slots. Yeah, that's true. They know the Saints big time football and exciting to watch. Jerry says, the Bears play tough D. Lance says, you think we lose Sheldon Rankins next year? I definitely think so, bro. Unless he takes a 1 to 2 year deal. It's going to be a funny environment next year with all the cap shrinking. He might not get what he can get. Perhaps the Saints can sign him like to a 2-year deal to bring him back on the team. That would be cap safe, But you never know, bro. I would like to keep Sheldon Rankins. But I don't think if somebody want him, they'll overpay the Saints to keep him. So if I can get him on the right deal, I would. But probably we won't. Probably he'll end up leaving somewhere. Chris says we need Lawrence Taylor out there. DLP says Khalil Mack is an animal, completely true wolf around like a rag doll. Tyra says, Ramsey says, I heard that Detillier say he says today on TJ's pod says reason why Adam Troutman isn't playing more is because he doesn't know enough about the offense. Well, that's a shame because that's got to be on the coach, man. You take that guy there and you got to give him all the reps he can get. All right, Kevin says Matthew Stafford wants out of Detroit. Would you take him? Stafford's interesting and fits the Saints offense like a glove. You got to protect him. He can throw the balls. A little bit of a gunslinger to me. I would prefer Aaron Rodgers more so than a Matthew Stafford, but I'm not mad about that call. As long as Stafford is not, he had them back issues. As long as he's not dealing with no injuries, but he missed a lot of time with injuries. That's the thing about Stafford, man. But you could blame that to a shitty offensive line as well. But I prefer if Drew did retire, I would look at Aaron before I would look at Stafford. But Stafford, I'm not mad at that. Thank you for that, Kevin. Audit the Fair. What up, Audit? Good to see you in the chat, bro. Big ups to you. Grass says Mike D is right. The transition from playing tight end in college to pros is rather difficult for a rookie. Jonathan Johnson says, would like to see if the Saints use Zach Bond And some of these defender schemes, things should be able to bring the element of surprise to opposing offenses. Tragic, who that to you? Thank you, Jonathan. Who that to you, bro? Say, well, I like to say to use Zach Bond. You know, and I agree with that, bro. Use him as a situational pass rusher. You know, you got injuries to Trey Henderson dealing with a groin injury that's been lingering since the Raiders game. Why not throw him in there? Tragic foul. Thank you for that, Jonathan. Tragic, who that to you as well. DLP says Dennis Allen needs to work with Malcolm Roach more. Young guys play hard, making things happen when he's out there moving around the line. Thank you, that DLP. I agree with that. Tramal, big ups to you as well. All right, fam, we get closer to the end of the show. We just approached that 2.5 hour mark. I'd like to thank the great Saint Think Tank family members for chiming on this edition of the show. Big ups to the family members as well, and appreciate you guys for chiming in. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shop. The link's in the description section below. Check out the latest gear that we have. We just released several new shirts last week that dealt with the cancer awareness teams. That available called Heal That and Beat That from the new cancer awareness line we have for Cancer Awareness Month. You can feel free to check that out at the Pro Shop, link in the description section below. Also, Pro Radio is in effect. Well over 70,000 downloads on Pro Radio, available on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple, Google Podcasts, Amazon, Audible. We damn near everywhere with the Pro Radio. You can catch all of our shows, the Sports Coma, Pelican Post Game Report, Ring Kings, Boxing, Tough Tiger Talk, all in their audio formats and available on Pro Radio, link in the description section. Also, if you enjoy the platform, you can feel free to join us at patreon.com/the PRO Media Network. You can go there and join up and get access to all of the unlocked content we have. We got tons of unlocked content on patreon.com. On our Patreon channel, we have shows, over 20 shows of the TSC Unleashed show that we do every Tuesday at 6 p.m. for our Patreon and YouTube members. You can get access to all that account by just simply signing up at patreon.com/the PRO Media Network. Also, On Q with Big Q is available, over 10 episodes of that as well. So check that out. Also, thanks to our sponsor at GetLifeMask.com. That's right, GetLifeMask.com. You go there and check them out. You can get the mask, the adjustable for either adults or children, LSU, Pelicans, or Saints mask. They have other masks as well. And you can feel free to get GetLifeMask.com's mask because they have a filter that is actually behind the nose of the mask that lasts for 3 months. It's a PM 2.5 filter. It slides in behind the nose clip. And it really filters the air that you breathe. If you're interested in that, go to GetLifeMask.com and breathe easy and use the product code, the Sports Coma, to get 10% knocked off on the price of the mask. All right. And once again, I'd like to thank all the beautiful family members for joining on this edition of the Sports Coma. Chris says, how do you think our record will look, Q? I think we're looking at, man, going forward with the Saints, man, what 2-2 right now. I think the Saints can, like I said before, we can go 12-4, 13-3. I really do think so. We run the ball, we stay balanced, and we do what we're supposed to do, and we play with purpose. We should be able to double digits. We could be able to double digit this thing, 12-4, 13-3, like we did last year. There is nobody that could beat the Saints when their play action and their balance is gone. I'm telling y'all, I keep saying that we are a juggernaut. When there's nobody, I don't care if it's the Baltimore Ravens, the Kansas City Chiefs, or any of the other clubs. Nobody can stand in front of the Saints when they got their play action going, when they running the ball and passing the ball and playing defense. We just need to get healthy. We'll be healthy real soon, especially after this game. And you're going to really start seeing some sports. We're into the second month, which means we're going to start seeing regular season football and not the preseason stuff that we was laying witness to. Thank you for the question, Chris. Jonathan says, you're right, Q. The Saints playing in the dime package hurts. Then without swearing on the field, Marcus Williams is sometime player. Sometimes players seem like he's better in the 4-3 package. That's a good point. He looks a bit uncomfortable in the dime in a little bit of loss. There, he gotta get his head around him, man. Really, we counting on Marcus Williams this year, big time. Dwayne Randolph, who that? He says, "What's happening, fam?" He says earlier, but I had to go back to work. Oh, that's no problem. Dwayne, who that to you? Thank you for joining us. Nonetheless, thank you, brother Jerry. Thank you, Tyra. Thank you, brother Tori. Thank all the beautiful Black and Gold family members for chiming in this edition of the show. And remember, family, I'll be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Thank you, Dwayne, for your super chat, family. I'll be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock so that we can cover our Saints versus Chargers preview. You know, we usually do it. Thank you once again, Dwayne, for your super chat. Thank all the family members for your super chats and your cash apps in advance. And tomorrow at 5, we'll cover the Saints and Chargers preview. We'll have statistics. We'll look at the depth charts. We'll cover the injury report. We'll also have the interviews and all that. And plus, all that, plus we'll open up the phone lines for the family members to chime in with their predictions and what they think will happen in the game as well. All that tomorrow at 5 o'clock on the show. So be looking out for that. So once again, thank you, Dwayne, once again for your second super chat. Super chat there. Thank you, brother. Once again, I appreciate y'all. Y'all be safe out there, man. Watch out for each other. And remember, we'll be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Thank you, Dwayne, for your second super chat there, fam. Much love to you. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So share the show links. Hit the thumbs button if you hadn't hit it. And I'll see y'all later. Who that to you? Who that nation? I see you, family. Peace, and I'm out.
Yeah. Well, all right. Like you always say, welcome, welcome, welcome. #1 sports talking D. We ain't like the Falcons, we won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that, who got cut and who back. Rookies in the vets, players you should look at. It's the sports coma, you don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game, party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Peyton, New Orleans, who that nation. Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black. Ain't a miracle or rivalry could ever hold us back. No, Beastquake, Bounty Gate, let the truth be told. It's the sports coma, all we know is say Super Bowl. Yeah.
You're listening to the Sports Coma.